Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to yet another episode of the panel. I hope you guys all had a fabulous weekend. You see the title of the show, the official, the best, the real, the only list that matters of top 10 point guards to ever dribble a basketball in the NBA. We are going to get to this. I need you guys to just put on your seatbelts, fasten your seatbelts, sit back. We are going to get into this list. We also have some other good lists to get into because the PCL playoff seeding just dropped. So I know who Mars will be debating in the first round of the playoffs. I know who Big Ox will be getting packed up by in the first round of the playoffs. I know who Chilltown will have an uphill battle against. And I know who Swiper may or may not have difficulties with. But this is going to be fun, y'all. So we're going to get to the bottom of both of these lists. I can't wait. Fellas, what's up, man? Talk to me. How you feeling?
I just looked in the chat and realized, like, I totally screwed up my point guard list.
You left someone off. You left someone off you shouldn't have left off?
Yeah, Mars. I feel
someone bad.
I feel terrible too. I feel terrible about it.
Damn. I left someone off I didn't want to leave off either. But
yeah, these were interesting lists that you guys sent through, but we'll get into that. But I do want to start the show off with
before we go any further on, I know for a fact Ox didn't leave one guy off. So
absolutely, absolutely. He on the list. He on the list. Yeah,
all the people we know for a fact one guy didn't.
Yeah. That number 9.
You can stamp that shit.
That number 9
on
the
that
list for sure. Yeah, I can promise you.
The only question is how high is number 9 on the list?
I got a 9mm.
Ox might have single-handedly got him on the combined top 10. He might have managed to do it.
We'll see. And what's funny is he wasn't the only one. So we'll just have to see about that. But fellas, Magic Johnson had some choice words for Anthony Edwards after Anthony Edwards had some choice words about his generation in the 90s and Michael Jordan being the only person to have skill back in the day. So I'm not going to really do too much talking and paraphrasing what Magic said. I'm actually going to just put him on the screen and you guys can hear what Magic had to say firsthand. So here we go. Well, my man Multi Kenny sent through a super chat. Shout out to Multi Kenny. Multi, I'm going to get back to this in a second, but we got to talk about Magic Johnson. We got to talk about what he had to say about these guys. Here we go. Putting it on the screen right now. Mm-hmm. Y'all, let me know if you can't hear this, but here we go.
Anthony Edwards just said the other day that there really wasn't any skilled players in the NBA back in the day outside of Michael Jordan. That's what he said. Your response to that, Irvin Magic Johnson?
Well, I don't never respond to a guy that's never won a championship. There's not nothing to really say. He didn't win a college championship. I don't know if he even won a high school championship. So
choice word for Magic Johnson
said the other day.
Magic could have addressed that without taking personal shots. I don't think personal shots.
How was that personal?
What was it? Where was it personal?
You ain't no winner. You ain't won nothing. That's a fact.
No, he won the Georgia Independent School Association Class AAA State Championship.
If you're in Georgia, you know that.
Holy Spirit Preparatory School in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia in 2018.
He could have simply just addressed it and told him that he was wrong and that there was a bunch of talented players. He could have named off a bunch of talented players, could have showed respect to all the talent.
Showing deference to Ant. I'm so sick of this.
He met.
I'm not. What I'm saying, Swiper, is that he could have just addressed it and told
could have kept his mouth closed. How about that?
Okay, let me say what I'm trying to say, Swiper. You'll get your time, brother. All he had to simply say was that Ant's wrong and that there was so much talent in the league. He could have spent that time praising all the talented players in the league instead of just, oh, well, he didn't win, so I don't take him serious. You know what I mean? Like,
question for you,
better
Ox.
than that, Magic.
Big question. Quick question for you, Ox. Has there ever been times with your aunts and your uncles that there was a time when they could have talked to you, but there was also a time when you deserved the ass whooping?
Oh, well,
this was one of those times. There is no talking. He deserved the ass whooping for this. Okay, first and foremost, you tell us I didn't even watch these guys, but then turn around and say these guys aren't skilled. That's the ass whooping part. So first of all, you only know what you're talking about, and then you talk about guys not being that skilled. There's a tier of guys that we talk about, and there's a tier of guys that we don't talk about. And Magic is right. I don't respond to dudes who are not in my class. You haven't done anything, young fella. You have not done anything. And in the league that we're in now, you guys know how big of an Anthony Edwards fan that I am. Anthony Edwards hasn't done much. And because he hasn't done much, he's young, and the media, Swiper can appreciate this, the media loves young, brash stars. Why? Stick a microphone in their face, and they'll say something wild as hell. We know that they will.
Yeah, but chill. We, like, most of us already know. Like, most of us know that what Ant said was complete and utter BS.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know that. I don't even have to consider it. I don't got to think about it. I don't consider Ant anywhere near Magic Johnson's level of basketball player, anywhere near that tier. I would never even consider having a conversation or debate like that. So all I'm saying is Magic could have just if Magic would have just debunked it by saying certain things, I think it would have went a lot further for this conversation. You know what I mean? Because Magic actually has the knowledge to know what he's talking about. Ant is a baby. He don't know. These kids don't be knowing nothing. Shit, they just be on here talking. So it's like instead, we could, you know what I'm saying? You can see that's the thing. Chill. I'm a 90s baby. I grew up with ass whoopings. You know, so now I pop my kids everywhere. I pop them, but at the same time, let me teach you, young fella. Sit now. After that, sit down, and I'm going to explain to you what happened and why you needed your little ass whooped.
Ox, but is it like hey, come over here, young fella, come sit with me, or is it sit your young punk dumb ass down? I got something to teach you, young fella.
Is this the first time Anthony Edwards has said something wild? Though is my question.
No, he's always saying something crazy.
There you go, and. Just like you just talked about, Ox, with your kid. There's times when you sit him down and listen, this is why this was wrong, what you did. But after a while, he might have to get his ass whooped because you done told him more than once. You done told him twice. How many times you got to tell him, right? So it's the same logic with Anthony Edwards. I mean, he keeps talking, which is why the media just loves young guys because they'll say things wow from time to time. Stick a microphone in their face and they'll say something wow. And for Anthony Edwards to say what he said, I mean, I think Magic was well in his rights because, again, you're talking about a generation of players who maybe you don't think that they're that good, but to completely dismiss who they are and you didn't even watch them, that's completely and utterly wrong. Oh,
well,
man.
and it's not like, first off, it's not even like Magic said anything crazy. He said you ain't won nothing. He was trolling, so he trolled back. Said, I'm not going to address you because you never won nothing. But then on the other side with this, like, I think there's just been this dismissal from, like, the NBA Twitter and, like, Gen Z basketball of, nobody before 2002 with T-Mac our T-Mac Ox was averaging 32.5 points per game for the Orlando Magic. Nobody was skilled prior to that. And I just think it's crazy. And if I'm Magic, and I'm one of those players. I mean, of course, I feel disrespected to some degree because I'm tired of like this narrative existing. Like, so you telling me that Hakeem wasn't skilled? You telling me Shaq wasn't skilled? Gary Payton, Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, none of these players were skilled. Ron Harper wasn't skilled. Like, we can keep going up and down the list. There were plenty of players that were mad skilled. David Robinson, Patrick Ewing. So
Chris Mullin.
Chris Mullin was cool. Chris Mullin was cold. He was cold at his apex. He was cold. All these dudes, they were all great players. And then Anthony Edwards, if anything, respectfully not respect to Ant, respect to the other dude.
Yo, Swiper, right quick. We got to eat, brother.
What up, PC Nation? Warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never-frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great-tasting meals. Make today the day you kickstart a new healthy routine. What are you waiting for? With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this July with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious. From breakfast to dessert, stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well-balanced. Head to factormeals.com/playerschoice50 and use code PlayersChoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code PlayersChoice50 at factormeals.com/PlayersChoice50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
As you were saying, Swiper?
I feel like I'm in Rickrolled. I feel like every time that ad come on mid sentence, I'm getting Rickrolled, chill. That's what it is. You remember that? That was the day when we was younger. We would get Rickrolled. We would open up something, you would hoping you was about to get Rickrolled.
You gotta learn the timing. That's why I don't talk when we approaching the 9 minutes.
I should, you know what? I should be looking at 11:09.
Yeah, the moment I see the clock hitting about 9 minutes, I just stay silent. I'm not.
You're right.
I keep doing it because I'm just want to see if one day I get the respect to finish my sentence.
From Ron? Oh, hell no.
I got faith in him. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't know.
The biggest problem.
I got faith in myself.
The biggest problem we have, though, is that with the younger guys and with the new generation and with older guys, my generation has a tendency to think, and it's unfortunate that I'm lumped in this, that the game is just so much better. And then the new generation thinks that the game started when they started watching it. And there is no median between the two. It's you old dudes are over, you young dudes don't know what you're talking about, and it's this constant clash when the game is just so much better when you understand it from that aspect. Like I watched these dudes today. Yo, these dudes is awesome. I'm watching Anthony Edwards. I watched Donovan Mitchell. I watched SGA, Jason Tatum, these young guys. These guys are awesome. But I can't forget about the guys that I grew up watching. That's why I compare them to the guys today. But I won't disrespect them neither. I won't disrespect Anthony Edwards and say, yo, Anthony Edwards, man, your game is whack. No, I ain't doing that. I will tell you Clyde Drexler would have bust your ass, though. I will tell you that.
Dominic
100%, I'll tell you that.
It's the difference. I think the difference, a lot of it isn't necessarily the basketball players anymore. I think it's more so the basketball fans. Mm-hmm. You can say anything to these guys. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, you can say anything to a lot of these new age basketball fans, and it's just gonna just be like boom, because they're just accepting everything now. You got the social media, you got so much trolling going on, you got 2K, all this stuff. Where back in the day, a lot of people had to seek out this information. You know what I'm saying? They had to do the research. They had to be actively paying attention to see what's going on in the basketball world. Nowadays, it's like oxygen. It's everywhere. So they don't know what's going on, what to believe, what not to believe. It's like a troll fest out here.
But to be honest with you, though, Ox, I think it's dope that we live in the information age that we live in, because you can't just go off of what I say. You can't just go off what Mars says. I actually got to do my homework, and sometimes I got to go back and remember what I missed. So it's not just going off somebody's word. We had to wait for Street and Smith to come out so we could see stats. We didn't really go too much off numbers. We had to wait to watch Bird and Magic and these guys, and that's all we could go off of. Even though we didn't really see them that much, we saw them as much as we possibly could, and that was all we had to go off of. Today, we live in an information age where you can fact check guys. Not only can you fact check, you can see more games, and you can critique games, you can critique players, and with being able to do that, now you can have a better understanding of the game. I think that's where the divide. I think that's where the divide can get closed.
Sure, you got youngsters like Mars that will hear something, figure it out, do the research, and then go with it. A lot of people are not doing that shit. A lot of people are just scrolling. You know, with their thumb just. This is the only motion they know. They're just scrolling. Oh, look, Ant said this. Gotta be true. Oh, he said this. Gotta be true.
Right.
There's no fact checking going on. Like Ant said there was no talent. The one dude said we done with the 90s, and boom. Here we are.
That's the end of it. We just done with it. You do just garbage.
Here we are.
Like, wait a minute. That's it?
No, that was a good time. Bring back we done with the 90s. That was great.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a wonderful time. I think I don't want to say the disconnect, but I think what I think goes wrong is everything. First of all, everything for some reason when it comes to basketball is about comparison. So you end up being in this realm where someone does something great. How do they compare to this guy from 30 years ago? Every time, like that's just how it goes for whatever reason. But I think the disconnect is for me when I'm looking at basketball players or ranking players or whatever, I'm just looking at you within the confines of your era and your time. Like that's just how I judge you. I look at Jerry West of how good was Jerry West within his era, the 60s, the early 70s. That's Jerry West. The issue I think a lot of the young fans have is they're not watching and whatever. They don't have to go watch the 60s Lakers if they don't want to.
They're not, Mars. They're not.
Yeah, they're not. But if they try and lie to you and say they are, they're not. But when any of them do watch it, they'll see a highlight clip. You can't convince someone who's not really into the game at a high level. You can't convince someone this Jerry West guy is better than Kyrie. You just can't convince them of that. They see what Kyrie can do. They're going to see what Jerry West can do. And no amount of stats, no amount of, well, the rules were different. They couldn't, none of that is going to matter to them when they see Jerry West and they see Kyrie Irving. They're not going to listen to anyone who says Jerry West was better than them. They're not going to listen to it. So we end up in this conversation where the older generations, or maybe even people my age who just rank relative to era, will be like, Jerry West in his time is better than Kyrie in his time, but they're just going to say Jerry West's time was trash. So I just think the conversation should just stop being about how would player A from the 70s translate into the 2020s, because respectfully, they're not going to win that conversation. None of them. Like maybe Kareem, but like the guards like Al Monroe, the Archie Clarks, the Pete Maraviches, who the young generation seem to respect, they're not going to win the conversation against the modern guards. They're just not going to win it. Right. So if we keep trying to compare them, and the old generation are responsible for this, saying insert any 20-point per game scorer from the 80s would kill in today's game, you're setting them up for failure because of the way the young people view that game. And when they watch it, they're going to see a guy who's only dribbling right. They're going to see a guy who has no real bag. They're not going to respect it. So if you stop trying to just put these guys from the past into today's game, I don't think they'd be met with as much disrespect as they get. If you leave them in their time and say, Alex English was great for his time, he was one of the best scorers in the 80s, I think it would be met with more respect than if you say, Alex English would be better than Kawhi Leonard. No one's going to listen to you. No one's going to listen to you, because if they go back and watch Alex English, they're going to be like, he never shot threes. He weren't really getting to a bag like that. And when you watch the Denver Nuggets, they were really just running up and down the court. And that's why he scored so many points. It's like, I'm not going to respect this next to Kawhi. So you're setting the older generation up for failure because of the ignorance of the young generation. Right. I feel as an older generation, you got to be aware that people my age and younger, A, we're trolls. And B, we're not going to be bothered to do our research. And not a lot of people care about the game enough to do what I do and actually go back and watch these guys and understand the differences in time. They're just going to watch Alex English highlight tape and be like, yeah, Kyle Kuzma's better. Like, that's what they're going to do. So that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Right. So, like,
Alex was dope, though.
I think as an older generation, you got to understand that and just say, even if I think he would kill in this era, I got to understand that me saying that is, even if it's me trying to show love to this older player, it's only setting them up to receive disrespect. But if you leave them within their time and say Alex English was a top 5 small forward of the 80s, or at that time he was one of the best scorers in the league, or Dominique Wilkins was one of the best athletes in the league, he was giving Larry Bird fits in the 80s, I think it would be met with more respect. But the moment you say, man, Dominique Wilkins would be just as good as Kevin Durant, it's like, no one's trying to hear that. So I think that's where it's like, we just got to do a better job and just understand who our audience is. And it might be unfortunate, but if you want to see these old guys get the respect they deserve, you can't be trying to compare them to the modern day and say they would be better than all these guys from the modern day, because it's going to set them up for failure and disrespect.
If we can't show no love to Alex English and Dominique Wilkins, then I don't give a damn what these kids are talking about, Marshall.
Yeah, you don't have to care about what they say. Man. That's also the other option. Like, I just don't care.
The hell with them.
But here's the thing, though, Mars. Like when you're talking about being an all-time great, for example, when I talk about my criteria being an all-time great, one of the criteria is does your game translate? So that's part of it. Does your game translate from this era to that era? Are you able to do the same thing that you were able to do there? Now, do I think that Dominique Wilkins would be 33, 34 games today in this era? Well, he'd have to be able to shoot the long ball, which he wasn't able to do that well. But do I think that he'd be a damn good player? Do I think he'd be an elite player in today's game? Yes, I do. The second part of that, Mars, is you talk about these guys in terms of them like being compared to each other. Well, the reason why we do it is because they do it. And we might not hear them do it on camera, but I'm sure Magic has sat around going, I'll bust Luka ass. I'm sure he said that. I'm certain that Magic has, I'm sure that you have these older players. I'm sure when we saw Wilt Chamberlain shaking Shaq's hand, almost pull his shoulder out the socket. I'm sure he was looking at Shaq like, man, I wish I was 22. I'll bust Shaq's
but
ass.
he said, no, Wilt has said that. You can find interviews of Wilt in the 90s saying he would destroy the era.
This is what I'm talking about, Mars. So when we talk about being able to compare these guys, we do it because it's human nature. As a competitor, they look at these guys and they do the same thing. I'm sure that Steph Curry, off camera, when he's around some of his friends or when he's around people that he's trust, has said, I'll bust Jerry West's ass. He couldn't do nothing with me. I've actually heard Allen Iverson say he would be crossing Larry Brown up. He said that. So with that being said, comparing these
Larry
guys,
Brown, like his coach?
Yes, his coach. He played at University of North Carolina, played in the NBA. Okay. But, I mean, it's natural to compare these guys because they do it. That's just a natural thing. So I don't think it's ever going to change in terms of comparison. I think that the gap can be closed when we do our homework and just respect the younger generation more, but not respecting it. I don't have to disrespect the younger generation by propping up the older generation. I don't have to do that. I can talk about the younger generation and the guys today and still respect the older generation. I can still do that.
A lot of people don't.
Well, I think
a lot of young people don't.
Somebody has to take the onus to say that I'm like to stop doing that nonsense, because like that whole Shaq is one of the biggest examples of a player that can hate on the new generation or even on his own generation, respectfully, with the whole Steve Nash thing. I think that there's just a level of pettiness that exists in basketball that is just not found in the NFL. Like the NFL, I've never heard John Elway, Peyton Manning, or Joe Montana have anything but great things to say about Patrick Mahomes, ever.
Well, with that being said, though, Swiper, I'm sure Joe Montana has looked at this ever going, I would light this shit up today.
No, he would be great. But like, I think that's the thing. John Elway, if you ask me right now, Joe Montana, John Elway, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, all at their apex, all of them are going to be in best player in the world conversation because they were all that talented, especially John Peyton. You said what?
Peyton clears. But
John Elway was the number one quarterback prospect to ever come out of college, by the way, just to be clear, until Andrew left. So I mean, just want to clarify for people. Or even if Cam Newton came out now,
he was a can't miss, Ox.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel y'all. Peyton clears. Go ahead. No,
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Not out of college. But I will say this, Ox. I think that's the thing. It's just like at some point somebody's gonna have to be the bigger one and be like, I'm just not gonna add to it. And maybe that what Magic could have did. Magic could have simply said, you know what, I appreciate Ant. He's a great player. I think there are a lot of skilled players at the time. You know who Ant reminds me of? Dominique Wilkins. And I saw Dominique Wilkins give Jordan fits. You know, something like that. That could have been a move. But I'm not gonna lie. The other part of this is it's the same thing with our elders when we're talking. Like, even if I think I'm better than some of the elders in my family at certain things, I don't go to the cookout or the family reunion like, oh, you can't do woo. That's just like a respect thing. Magic is like, I'm literally like one of the 4 best players ever, more than likely. 3 MVPs. I got multiple championships. I'm obviously like, and you say I'm not skilled. I play center in the finals. Yeah. What do you mean I'm not skilled? Like, I play center in the finals, got 40. And then what you're doing, Ant? You're going 6 for 24. 6 for 24 versus KCP. That's what I would have said. But
I think it's natural. I think it's natural though, because like I know when I was a youngster, I used to talk crazy to my big cousins and my uncles and stuff. And that's when I was young. Like, and that's why I always get confused about how people say, "Oh, there wasn't athletes back then." And I'm like, yo, if you would have grew up with my uncles you would know that's just not true. Because even in their early 40s, late 30s, these dudes were still running, jumping, doing all types of, you know what I'm saying, crazy. Like, so that's why I always get confused. Like, I don't understand it. But I mean, everybody didn't grow up outside, Swiper, you know. So, you know, everybody wasn't playing sports with older people and learning the hard way.
I do want to say this about basketball though, too, because I know we just compared it to football. You got to understand football is more of an ultimate team sport. And even though basketball is a team sport, you got to understand, like, wide receivers might not talk about other wide receivers disrespectfully because, like, although they're competing against each other, they're not directly competing against each other. It's not like the receivers have to guard each other. The receivers are guarded by the cornerbacks. The quarterbacks, although they're competing against other quarterbacks, they're really going up against other defenses. In basketball, you have to check me and I have to check you. We are constantly going back and forth on the court. It's constant smoke. So it's a little different. Basketball is, I actually attribute basketball more to like a boxing type of sport. And you know, boxers talk the most trash out of everybody because literally it's going to be me and you in this ring, mano y mano. We got to get them up and we going to see who's going to end up on their feet at the end of the night. That's more so what basketball is. If you ask me, it's like, yo, it ain't no, and this is no knocking football or anything, but it's no helmets, it's no pads. It's you and me, and it's just smoke. And that's that.
Ron, do you think that football players just respect that their sport is so much more physical, is so much more contact that they're like, we don't even consider it no more. Like, we know we're done. Basketball players, they you know, 60 years old, man, I can still get out on the court and do this, you know. But even though we know they can't, but you know what I'm saying, still in their mind, like, yo, I could do that. But football players are like, man, I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do this anymore. No, I can't.
Right. I think it's more of a respect, a pass down respect. Like, I know what you're putting your body through. I know the physicality of what you're doing because I've been there, and I know that I can't put those pads on no more. But that's for the young men, and y'all do that. So I'm showing respect to you because this is like, to them it's war. It's a battle to them. For basketball players, you know, to me, it's a jungle in that paint. I know it is. But it's not like football. So I still, even today, Chill, you know, I still got that in my head. Like, man, I get with any of the youngsters. You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
and football players,
I think it might be a respect thing.
And that's the thing too, Chill. Like, think about it right now. Like, Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, Vaughn Miller, don't matter. The greatest defenders of this era. You can go back to 2000 with Champ Bailey, Darrell Revis, Bruce from the Bills. Who else was like the all-time great defender in 2000? Whoever. None of them.
J.J. Watt, like Brian Urlacher. None of them. Ray Lewis, Ox. Guess what? Ox. Guess what? Ed Reed. Guess what? Ox. They all say Lawrence Taylor's the GOAT. Lawrence Taylor is the GOAT. They don't even play around with it.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, there's just a level of respect because once you. Julius Pepper, Brian Dawkins, like that's what I'm saying. Like, once you go through the grind of the NFL, bruh, everybody gives you nothing but flowers because it takes like an insane person to play like all-time great physical level collision sport football versus the best athletes in the world. And I think it's just like you pay your dues, and once you pay your dues, we give you respect. And I think that's why people, when they retire, man, they're talking about so glowingly, regardless of even how they play. Like, if you gave people your best effort for 5 to 10 years and you played at a really high level, it's all respect. But whereas now T-Mac gets ripped apart because he didn't do nothing in the playoffs. Like, there are plenty of quarterbacks that didn't do nothing in the playoffs in the NFL. But I think the only narrative you really get out that's a one-on-one, like, oh, you know, Brady beat Mahomes. Like, Mahomes never beat Brady when it mattered. But like, that's just like more pundits and talking heads. But like, if Brady doesn't have an offside penalty, then he's not in the Super Bowl. Mahomes wins his first year.
Go your way, 100%.
Right.
You need a lot of stuff to go your way.
Fellas, we do got to transition, though. I want to shout out to everybody that's in here. Make sure y'all slap that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Shout out to everybody that sent through a super chat. And also, more importantly, shout out to our Hall of Famers. You know who you are. Multi-Kenny, Cobra Son of Raditz, Dorian Clayton, Kendall Daniels, my man Arch. Shout out to all of you guys. You guys are really the GOATs. You hold it down. And speaking of which, I'm going to show my man Multi-Kenny some love because he sent through a members chat and he is a Hall of Famer. He said, Kennedy Carter is like that. I was at the Aces and Sky game, and it completely changed how I view the game. It also showed me that people don't actually be watching the games on Twitter. They just talk shit from the box scores and clips.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Y'all seen
Kennedy
that?
Kennedy is like that.
I watched that
Kennedy
game yesterday too. By the way, Ox. Not that game. I watched the Sparks Dallas Stars game.
Oh yeah, yeah. That kid, you seen that comeback?
Awesome game. Yeah, it was an awesome game last night.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
It was a great game.
Kennedy Carter is like that, but she really does disappoint me sometimes with her antics. I can't lie. I can't lie. Like the thing with Caitlyn earlier in the season, I definitely didn't like that, mostly because Caitlyn's back was turned. But you know, Caitlyn did her thing, you know, before that. We already discussed that. I don't want to get too far into that. But what she did to Marina Mabrey the other day really was like, come on, Kennedy, you didn't have to do that. Like, that was your teammate, you know. Marina didn't deserve that.
What ended up happening? What happened?
She just got a flagrant one. But all she did is bam, hit her hard like in the head and stuff. It was unnecessary. It could be because I'm a big Marina Mabrey fan. I don't know, but I just didn't like it. But Kennedy
they don't play on the same team anymore. They don't.
No. She got traded to the Connecticut.
Okay.
But you know, it still, even with that being said, Kennedy is dope though.
Did y'all see her shot last night?
Pull up, pop out. Like she got the ink, pull back.
So she's one of those players. I've seen a little bit of her. I haven't seen much of her, but she's one of those players that she can play, but the fact that she can be a little bit goofy from time to time, it takes away from how good she is, and that's what people focus on.
She's just a yapper.
I mean, sometimes she does, but then
she's a competitor.
She is, but she, you know, it's different being a competitor and just doing nasty things. Like it's like, come on, Kennedy, you didn't have to do that.
She's a nasty competitor. I'll put it that way. But I mean, Kenny,
she a dog. She a dog.
She got Dylan Brooks in the blood.
She could a little bit. They definitely drinking from the same water. But if I got a team, I want Kennedy Clark on my team every year. I'll deal with the flagrant fouls. I'll deal with the technicals every now and then. I'll deal with the fight she may get in, even with teammates, because I want somebody like that at the head of attack. I want her picking up the other point guard full court. I want her. You seen that big ass shot last night? She just not scared at all.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know, the Aces in the Sky played yesterday. The Aces were up 3 with time basically dwindling down. Kennedy Clark hit a crazy crossover step back 3 to basically send the game into overtime.
Oh, okay.
And it was like a minute and 2 seconds, or a second, like
second
1.2 seconds
clock,
left.
basically. Yeah.
And hey,
There go that girl.
Terrible defense.
Asia Wilson basically caught a backdoor pass over the top of the defense. Back
she got a left-handed strong hand layup to win the game.
Ain't no big deal for her. It don't matter what hand it is.
What was she? Well, I mean, no, I'm saying for the defense though. Like you give her strong side, and she just goes right up. What was she? How many shots did she shoot yesterday? Because she even said she was bricking yesterday.
I didn't.
But she had 20 and 18 though.
Yeah.
Wasn't an efficient 20 and 18, but
she went almost 20 and 20 yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's different this year.
You seen how Angel was all on that glass. I was pissed at Angel. Like, yo, put a body on her.
Yes,
you just gonna let her get 4 or 5 offensive rebounds on one possession. Like, just box her out. Stop trying to jump with that. That girl is an animal.
Yeah,
like,
Angel actually had 22 rebounds.
Yeah.
She had 11 points and 22 rebounds.
Look,
how many offensive rebounds did she get?
People in 11, I think.
11
offensive rebounds? Yikes!
I believe so. But it's like yeah. Most of them were off her missed shots.
Yeah,
I know
they
people
were.
are gonna be like, oh well, she's just missing the shot. You know, still
she's fighting on the board.
She shouldn't be able to get that many. If she should get a miss, the defense should get the rebound. She should have to go that way. You know what I'm saying? It's she's missing, but she is still an animal on that glass. Like you can't just try to jump on her and go get the ball. You have to hit her. You have to put your butt on her. You got to box her out, get her out the way. You might not be able to get the rebound. You know what I'm saying? Your teammate might have to get the rebound because you got to box her out. You got to get her out of there.
But it depends on how healthy she can stay. But if she does like 7 or 8 years of this, she's gonna go down like the best rebounder ever in the league.
Better than Sylvia?
That's what I'm saying. If she keeps going,
more than that. But that's the thing about it is she's not like her touch is gonna fall. Like you know what I'm saying? It's gonna fall. It's not like she's not even in college. She wasn't like this super inefficient like player. She, you know what I'm saying? This isn't it's not going to last. Like eventually the touch is going to come. She's going to get used to the speed. She's going to get used to the physicality. She's going to get used to how quick other girls can contest her shot. And that's going to come. Like those shots are going to start falling.
But how many double-digit rebounders do you remember in WNBA history though? Like career-wise? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I don't even know if Lisa average 10 a game her whole career, Ron? Do y'all know?
Sure. I think Sylvia did.
Sylvia did?
Yeah, I think Sylvia did. She was a glass.
Like again, like 10 rebounds a game in the
Lisa averaged 9.1.
You said what?
Lisa averaged 9.1.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And what is she averaging? 11? 10?
12.
12.
12 boys.
Yeah, but Swiper. Once
averaged 9.8.
Yeah.
Once that shot start falling, those Swiper, like her offensive rebounds are going to go down.
So, I still think she's going. Her
points might go up, but I think her offensive rebounds are going to fall.
So I'm gonna read off these stats, and then fellas, we got to get into these rankings. But Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson both didn't have the best shooting nights, which might explain why Angel Reese had 22 rebounds and 11 points, but she went 4 for 16 from the field. A'ja Wilson, on the other hand, had 20 points and 18 rebounds, but she went 8 for 28 from the field. So they had rough shooting nights, but they both ultimately had good rebounding nights. And Kennedy Carter led the game in scoring with 25 points. So shout out to them. We'll keep you guys posted on more WNBA coming up. The season is heating up and starting to get very entertaining. So y'all be sure to tap in. Listen to what Multi Kenny said and watch the game. Don't just box score watch and look at clips. But just fellas, so with no further
I know we got to move on, Ron, real quick. Ox, 5 years tops. Caitlin Clark's the best lead guard in the game, and I don't think it's close.
Well, just remember Paige and Juju are coming though.
She's the best. Caitlin Clark's gonna be the best lead guard in the game.
No, she's cold. No, I believe it. She's
close.
I think she's gonna make it. She's gonna make one of the teams. I mean, I don't know if she make all WNBA this year. I mean, we'll see. But
I won't fight you on that shit. I will not fight you on that.
All right, here we go, y'all.
Madison Booker coming too, and you know that guy is still playing point guard. So.
This is obviously it's 16 people in the PCL. And based on the regular season, we had to basically break down everything.
You're going to say who's in 16th by name?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. Here we go, though. I'm going to just break down to you guys exactly how the seating was formatted and how we got to this seating. All right. Y'all save the L host for after the show, okay? You don't have to do this during the live chat, okay? But here's basically how we determined where people were rated in the seedings. Essentially, it was 4 factors. The first was the win-loss record. This was the most important, first and foremost, biggest factor in determining our playoff seeding with the debaters. The win-loss record in the regular season is essentially everything. Obviously, if you're 4-0, you're going to be, at the top. The more battles you won, the higher you were seeded. Second is the win margin. If the debaters have the same win-loss record, then we got to fall on something else, which is the win margin. This is the difference between the number of votes that a debater received in their wins and the number of votes that they received in their loss or the losses that they got. So essentially, it tells us how convincingly a debater won their match or how closely they lost. An example, if debater A won 3 matches with a lot of votes, but lost the match by just a few votes, they'd have a higher win margin compared to debater B if they had closer wins and bigger losses. Also, the third factor is the seeding process. So the division winners, the people that finished at the top of their divisions, A, B, C, and D, they automatically were seeded as a top 4 seed. And then the remaining individuals were seeded from 5 to 16. So that's that. And then also why all of this matters is the seeding system just ensures that the debaters who perform the best during the season have the most favorable matchups early rounds of the playoffs, essentially rewarding them for their consistency, hard work, and just ability to cook, y'all. So that's that. If y'all have any questions, leave it in the comments and maybe we'll address them or whatnot. But here we go, fellas. With no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and run these down and rattle these off. Chat, this should be funny and interesting. But as of right now, I don't think this is a surprise for anybody who finished 16th. He didn't really come out hitting on all cylinders, and I do believe he'll get a first round upset for whoever has that number 1 seed.
So disrespectful.
But shout out to my man Jack Cody.
Damn.
Jack actually went 0-4, and he had a -11 win margin. So that's what happened.
He got 0-4 in 3 debates.
He lost one so badly; it was 2 losses.
Yeah, that's what happened. All right, MTEL, you are 15.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think they did MTEL wrong with that.
He had a -8 win margin, but shout out MTEL, man. Came and did your thing. All right, next. This one's gonna be surprising. This one's gonna be crazy surprising, y'all. But that's how the votes turned out, man. My man Gifted. I didn't see you as being the 14th seed, but
whoa,
Gifted, dog.
Damn, the 3 seed have a tough matchup.
That's tough. Do.
Can't wait to tell y'all who the 3 seed is.
That's tough.
All right, that's Gifted at 14. Moving along, one of Gifted's running mates on From the Logo is at 13. And this is his name.
ZZ.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out ZZ coming in at 13. I do believe he's gonna have a tough match, or whoever got to face ZZ in the first round, they're gonna have a tough matchup too. All right, y'all. Moving along, OG the Beast is coming in at 12. He'll have an interesting first round matchup as well. At 11, we got Hayes from the Loco.
I'm noticing someone's about to be a top 8 seed, and I'm happy about it.
Why is that, Morris?
Because he was doing good in the groups.
Yeah, we shall see.
What are you doing, Ron?
Yeah, I don't know what he doing.
Oh
right
no,
now,
just give me a sec. My ADHD is kicking in. I just gotta make sure that everything is all aligned and everything.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he.
I gotta make sure we locked in. I gotta make sure it's consistency. All right, there we go. All right, so Hayes is 11 at 10. I want to give this dude right here a big round of applause and a big shout out because he really stepped into this arena and really proved his worth. And this is my man John D. As a wild card coming in and getting a 10th seed, that's pretty impressive. Coming off the streets, jumping straight into the PCL, and letting everybody know, I got what it takes. That's fire. So big shout out to John D. You came, you did your thing. All right, at 9, we got Casual.
Damn, what?
What?
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Hey man,
Casual should be a way higher seed than that.
That's what the voters said, man. This is how the votes turned out. I told y'all go over there and vote. This is what it looked like. So this is our bottom 8 seeds right now. We got Jack Cody, MTEL, Gifted, ZZ, OG the Beast, Hayes, John D, and Casual at 9. This is what we're looking at right now. All right, at 8, this is where things are about to get funny. At 8, we got the biggest Magic Johnson stand, Pirate.
Oh, so Pirate's going against Casual, right? 8-9.
Yeah.
The 8-9 seed.
That's a crazy match.
All right, at 7, we have Elder Rufus.
Oh, this is crazy. Okay, interesting.
Elder Rufus at 7. At 6, shout out to the Pin guy, man. And shout out to Ronto. Pin is coming in at 6. At 5, and it's funny because we have 4 people still remaining. Or 4, you guys are all still remaining. So now this is where things are going to get interesting.
This better be who I think it should be.
Chat, I need you guys to let me know who you believe out of these guys is at 5. And Obviously, it's one more guy still remaining too. But who do y'all think is at 5?
And that guy better be a top 4 seed. So it should be Chill at 5 because Dion should be a top 4 seed.
And you know what's crazy, Mars? It is Chill at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, Dion.
Let's go.
All right. At 4, finished at the top of his division, +6 win margin. Shout out my man Swiper, man. Swiper is a 4 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I have one major gripe here, but I'm gonna let it go.
At 3, can't make stuff like this up. At 3, my man Big Ox is coming in strong at 3. He finished at the top of his division. Big Ox had a +5 win margin. So shout out Big Ox.
Shout out to the AI for going to fix.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Hold on, Mars, hold on. You don't gotta lie, but I'm happy that the AI went and fixed what the bozos in the chat tried to do. I told you I was 2-1. I told you I was 2-1. Casual cooked me. Casual for sure cooked me. But I beat Elder and I beat.
No,
OG,
I'm with you. You're 2-1, but I don't know how Casual isn't 3-0.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's what I was confused about.
That's why I'm confused.
I'm definitely 2-1, but I'm confused how Casual didn't win the division. I thought Casual won the division.
To the AI, I'm gonna need to talk to the AI because that's interesting.
But
y'all saying I'm on payroll? I ain't pay me nothing yet.
I never.
So you know what? Ryan. So you know what?
I'd rather be the 16 seed to pay Ryan.
You and Jack Cody flipping spots.
I mean, to be fair, you drew Gifted in round 1, so you haven't got an easy matchup. To be fair,
right? Then that's I don't expect to. But the thing about it is, it's not gonna be the chat votes, though. I'm not worried about nothing. Though. You know what I'm saying? I expect real judges to know.
Shout out to Dion, top 2. I'm happy about it.
Obviously, Mars is between you and Dion for who comes or who's first and who's second. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go ahead and put this graphic on the screen, and you guys will be able to see who finished first, who finished second, and then we can talk about these matches.
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at for the PCL playoff rankings. Mm-hmm. We got Mars at 1.
Oh, I got a bye. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. See you guys.
Wait.
Why does it say? Oh, it's this way. So okay.
What do you mean by you got a bye, Mars? Are you insinuating something?
Yes.
Or do you like literally have a bye? Do you know something I don't know? Like you're not gonna be there September 4th?
I mean, I'll be there, but
but you don't really got to show up.
Hey, who knows? Actually, I might lose. Let me respect my opponent. I'm happy to be the 1 seed. I'm eternally grateful. Thank you very much, guys. Right. I don't have a bye.
So how did this work, Ron? Me and Elder both went 2-1. So Elder ended up beating Casual.
I don't know. I don't have exactly who won which battles. I just know who won.
Because I know for sure AI. There was no correcting what happened between me and Casual. Like, there was no AI correcting that. I'm trying to figure out how did Casual not win the division?
Because he beat OG the Beast handily. So it would have to be he lost to Elder. That's where it would have to be.
Right.
So
okay. Yeah, it has to be that. Okay.
Yeah, him. So
shout out Elder. Elder held me down. Yeah, Elder.
you, him, and Elder all had the same record, but your win margin. So you had a win margin of 5. Elder Rufus had a win margin of just +1. Casual had a -2 win margin.
So he lost to Elder by that much.
Damn, Elder.
Hey, that's what the vote said.
Yeah, Casual. Me doing the seeding, Casual would have been a top 3 seed easy in my.
Yeah, Elder.
And
well, Mars, you're not the AI.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly. Shout out to the AI.
Shout out to Elder. Hold me down. That's what's up. Wait.
And so we got Mars at 1. Dion from Ohio at 2. Big Ox at 3. Swiper at 4. Steel Town at 5. Pen at 6. Elder Rufus at 7. Pirate at 8. And then essentially these are going to be the people who they're matching up against. Pirate versus Casual at 9. We got Elder Rufus at 7 versus John D at 10. Pen at 6 versus Hayes at 11. Chill at 5 versus OG the Beast at 12. That is an amazing matchup. Hold on, I got to stop right there. Chill. You know why this is such a crazy matchup, you versus OG the Beast. For the people that don't know, can you tell them what's the backstory to this?
So me and OG, that's how we start. That's how I started with the podcasting. Me and OG, 3 years ago, we started on a podcast called Sports Behavior, and we did it for like 6 or 7 months. I mean, that's how I actually got into this whole thing. That's my man. And we have been doing it for a long time. So we have been going back and forth for years. So this is not a cakewalk. Nah, not at all. Absolutely not. This is I got history with OG. That's my man. No doubt about that.
So that should be a real good one.
Yes,
that
sir.
might be to me, that might be the most exciting first round matchup. But also we got Swiper versus ZZ, the number 4 seed versus the 13 seed. We got Big Ox, the number 3 seed versus Gifted, the number 14 seed.
Hey Mars, can I beat Gifted, Mars?
Yeah, I think you can be Gifted. Yeah, I think you can be Gifted. Keep it about basketball. And if Gifted somehow starts talking lies about what stats mean, you can win.
Start the yapping, as you would say, Mars. The yap.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And then last but not least, we got 2 more battles. Dion from Ohio versus M-Tail. And then we got Mars versus Jack Cody, the 1-16 matchup.
There's always the risk that Jack has been trolling the whole time, and he comes out and
sleep on him if you want, Mars. He may.
No, I'm not asleep because I'm of
Uh-huh.
the, and I say this with as much respect as I could possibly say. I believe he's trolling. Like, for my sanity, I have to believe he's trolling. So there's a chance that he just decides to stop trolling now the money's on the line, and I've got one of the toughest matchups at the 16 seed. That's what I believe is actually happening. But if he's actually like, that's his beliefs and he goes with it, I should win. But I believe he's trolling.
Well, it's obvious that my division wasn't as easy as y'all say it was, because the number 2 seed is in my division. So
yeah, but so you
obviously-
also have the
or
number
you just
16
fell
seed
off.
too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have the 16 seed, yeah. Top heavy.
Ron, so wait, I want to look real quick. Based on this, what division had the higher seeds?
What is it's your division? Your 3, Elder Rufus at 7, Casual at 9, and OG at 12.
So as far
I
as
said that one would be close. I said
power schedule, we're the SECs.
Swipe
Ron,
division too, though.
my division got 2 top 5 guys. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
All
then
right.
you also have 16 and
So
11. So it brings it up. Mine appears to be the worst. I got 15. Yeah, I got 15 and 13 in my group.
Yeah,
and
Mars, maybe
Pirates
you
8.
picked your division actually.
Yeah,
After
so my
overall,
group was
after
allegedly
all.
the easiest.
So wait, it's me, Penn, John D, and
Gifted.
Yeah. I mean, Swiper, we all know your division was tough. It was just like for some reason, Gifted got packed up in the votes.
well Dion and so all right.
We're the SEC, Swiper. Y'all are like,
What'd you say, bro?
I said my division is the SEC. Y'all like the Big 12 though.
SEC. Give me a break.
Mine's like the worst division.
I think it's more Big 10, but yeah, sure.
Big 10, okay, that's cool. Big 10. Whatever.
Yeah, Michigan.
So
won,
in round
National
2,
champ came out the Big 10.
yeah,
So
that's Michigan won last year.
You know, that's what's up.
It-
I'm
round
Philly,
2,
Alabama.
going up against the 8-9 seeds.
They didn't
if I
win
were
last
to make
year.
it through.
So
What'd you say?
Alabama
In
wins
round 2,
every
would I be
year.
going up against the 8-9 seeds if I were to make it?
Who did Michigan beat?
We're gonna drop the bracket here very soon. But
Wait,
hold
so
on,
you're saying
let
if I wasn't on vacation, I'd be the number 1 seed right now? Is what you're telling me, Ron? If I wasn't on vacation last week.
Is that why you lost?
If
You
you
guys
put down
excuses for your loss, crazy.
If you would have put down that Casamigos,
Yeah,
you
facts.
would've-
Talk about it.
You might have done something.
so many
Who did
margaritas,
Michigan beat
man.
last year, by the way, in the national championship? I think it
Who
was,
what?
Who did Michigan beat last year in the national championship?
Ohio State? No, it was
they beat Ohio State to go to the national
yeah,
championship.
it was
I think it was I want to say Oregon or Washington, one of them two.
because
The reason why I'm saying that,
It was
the reason why I'm
Washington.
saying that because the guys in the chat saying that, you know, my division is the Pac-12. Pac-12 played for the national championship last year.
Put
We
some
talking
respect
about.
on the Pac-12.
Yeah, Pac-12 played for the national championship.
Wait, so
last year.
what was the ranking based on the winning? Because Dion, what did he favor most in, Ron? Which category did he win? Because what was he in his like rate? Like his record? What was his record? 2-1.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He
Who
just
did he lose to?
Chill.
Hold on, let me see. He might. Hold on, let me see.
He lost to Chill.
Cap.
And where's that?
I was
Bucks
undefeated in the
chat?
division. 3-0. 3-0.
So how are you
maybe
five?
in the live vote,
That's a good ass question.
The aftermath.
Maybe
Maybe the live vote.
because of weight of schedule.
Strength of
my strength of schedule. Not only my strength of schedule, my point differential.
And they were all home wins. They were all home wins
My
versus
point
the FCS
differential
teams.
wasn't as good. Apparently, I ain't beat teams by enough. I should have beat teams by more than I did. Even though I won every game.
You know, for the first 4 games of the season, like Alabama's playing against like northeastern
ITT Tech,
Arkansas
Eastern Washington.
State, you know what I'm saying? Like one of them type northeast Arkansas. Like we don't know who is that?
Yeah.
And where's that busted in the chat? KZ7HM or whatever his name is. He left after he found out that I wasn't. You know, he seen my ranking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie. Seeing you as a 3 seed did kerfuffle me, but.
Hey, look, Casual should have beat Elder. Casual should have beat Elder. That's not my fault, Marsh. He beat me. He should have did the same thing to Elder that he did to me. Okay, that's not my problem, Marsh. I took care of business. I took care of business against Elder. I took care of business against OG the Beast. That's what I had to do, and that's what I did. I don't feel sorry for that. You know what I'm saying?
And you shouldn't.
He should have beat Elder the same way he beat me. He came and wiped the floor with me. Why did he do that to Elder? You know what I'm saying? That's not my fault.
I think he'd be Elder, but the AI obviously caught different votes. So that is what it is.
All right, y'all. So the PCL playoffs will start next week. On Wednesday, September 4th, we will have 4 matchups on that day. And then Sunday, September 8th, we'll follow up with the next 4 matchups. This should be fun. This should be exciting. This should be competitive. And ultimately, it should be surprising because somebody's going to get popped in that first round. And I just don't know who. Oh, also, too, we have live voters now. We have actual judges. Chat, you guys will still obviously get a judge, but no more of that AI stuff. We got actual judges to come here and let us know who cooked, who didn't cook, who had bad points, who made good points, and ultimately who won the debate. So we'll continue to talk about that. We'll have a bracket here soon, so we will know what the road to the championship will look like for some of these guys, but we'll get to that a little later. As for now, I got a guess for us, y'all. What's going on, Jordan? How you feeling?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
What up?
Late to the show.
Good. What's up, man?
Nah, you good. You just in time because we're about to get into these top 10 point guards.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Jordan's cool?
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
I'm saying, like, is that what you like to be called?
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
All right, cool. You want to tell the people where you from, what you do, how you do it?
Okay, so I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a basketball trainer. I also make basketball content. Like I train like college kids, some pros, high school, whatever. And I just break down film. I do a lot of that, like a lot of breaking down film, showing kids how to do this. I'm a coach too, so anything in the basketball world, that's pretty much what I do.
Hey, Jordan, you hoop?
Yeah, I do hoop.
Who up here looks like they got the most game?
All right, now let me see. You talking about game currently,
or you could say
all around,
or you could say somebody don't got game.
I can't say. I know better. I've been hooping a long time.
Okay, and that's usually how it be. That's usually how it be.
Yeah,
book by cover.
Yeah, but if we talking about like maybe all around hoop, man, I gotta go with old school up here, man. He probably was like that back in the day. Yeah, he probably
way back in the day. Way.
Oh, look at him blushing.
I had to get that to him, man. Ain't no telling what was going on back there.
Yeah, I heard a couple things about Chilltown back in the day. But all right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this top 10 point guard list because this is about to be insane. And it's some guys that
Jordan, you did a list too?
Yeah, I did a list too.
Okay, right on.
And so before we get into this, I do want to say that it's only 5 guys on this list that made everybody's list. So of the other 5 guys, they were left off somebody's list, if not multiple people's list. So I will let you guys know the guys where it's like this guy was on everybody's list.
Are you going to start with the people who just didn't make it but were on some people's lists?
Yeah. So I'm going to start with some honorable mentions. The first guy is Gary Payton. Shout out Gary Payton. Full transparency, I was the only one that had Gary Payton. I had him at 10.
W get your Seattle guy on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
W
shout
defense.
out GP though. Shout out GP. Next, Damian Lillard.
Everybody didn't have Damian Lillard on there.
Everybody did.
Nah, I had like
Who did?
I had Damian Lillard on there.
Yeah, he was one of my first like off the list.
Yeah,
like,
I had an honorable mention, but it wasn't Dame.
Yeah, I had like 4 honorable mentions. He was one of them. So was GP. So
Whoa, wait. But I wanted to ask a question. How come people don't consider James Harden a point guard?
Well, I think they gave us rules to the lists.
Oh, okay.
Based on
I was just confused.
He was a tweener. I personally
He
think
on the
that
shooting
if
guard.
we did a guard list, he'd be top 10 probably. But I think
He's going to be in the shooting guard list, though, right?
we're gonna do a shooting guard
he
list.
peaked as a 2, even though I think he's been a point guard the last.
Yeah, depending on how you perform today, you coming back for the shooting guard list. But you keep making Chill blush by lying and saying he's the best hooper up here. You might come back.
I got you.
All right, next. Speaking of old school, speaking of Chill, somebody who they had a lot of competitive and tough matchups going one-on-one against each other. Chilltown and Bob Cousy is an honorable mention. So
shout out to the people who put Bob Cousy on the list. Shout out to you.
Who did that? Who put Bob Cousy on the list?
Honorable mention. You, Swiper?
No, I mean, I think it's fair. Honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, can you tell us who had Bob Cousy on the list, or you don't?
Nobody.
Oh, so you?
Oh,
so he's honorable mention that no one had. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like honorable mention.
Swiper actually sent him as an honorable mention, so I'm showing him some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you sent your honorable mentions. Okay.
He sent one honorable mention, and it was the honorable Bob Cousy.
Yeah, I just wanted to respect the name.
Shout out to Bob.
Okay.
Hello, thank you.
I was contemplating if I wanted to go back that far, and I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
Like I mentioned, like he was there. I understand he had a lot of All NBAs, All-Star games.
You played before a shot.
It was between him, Walt Frazier, and Gary Payton at the 10 spot.
Yeah, if he started his career in 55, I would have probably put him. But you played before a shot clock. I just can't get with it. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
No shot clock. That's not possible. It just doesn't count.
So no George Mikan on your center list.
George Mikan will not be on my centers list.
Wow.
Spoiler. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing that.
The next honorable mention, speaking of him, Chill, is Walt Frazier.
Damn.
Really? That's interesting. Okay.
I had him on mine. Ooh,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I had Walt.
I did too.
Walt made 3 lists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else had Walt?
I had him.
Me, Mark, Chill.
Okay.
Yeah. What was his nickname, Chill?
Clyde.
How could you leave a man with that nickname off?
Clyde Frazier. Yep.
So now we voting off.
That's because my uncle, man. If I didn't know nothing about any of these players, I knew about Walt Frazier because my uncle all day, that's all he talked about. Walt Frazier this, Walt Frazier that, Walt Frazier this. He wore number 10 because of Walt Frazier. That's because that was his man.
I had Walt.
Loved him some Walt Frazier.
That's interesting. Okay.
All right, the next honorable mention. Oh man, Big Ox. I'm sorry, but your man ain't
playing with me, man.
He was on.
You ain't going nowhere.
He was on one list. He was just like number 2 on that
list.
He was just like number 2 on that list.
One list.
Who is it? Where did you have your man?
I really do got to get on the freeway in like 30 minutes, so I wish Ron would hurry up with this list.
Where did you have your man at on this list?
It don't even matter, Chill. It don't even matter.
It was top 5.
Send me the list, Ron.
Who we talking about?
Ray Home.
I got him on my list too.
Oh my God!
What's up, man? We got
Ray Jones.
I got Ray Jones.
You had him top 5.
I didn't have him
got him on my list too.
I had him number 6 or 7. I had him 6.
I got him 10. I got him 10.
Ray Jones on the top.
Ray Jones Rundle.
Ray Jones is an honorable mention.
Ray Jones Rundle.
That's just I have Ray Jones in the top 10, but for real, y'all know.
You ain't have Ray Jones on your list. No, man, it's cool.
Ray Jones clears.
He's a great player. If we did a college list from Kentucky, he might be on my list, Ox.
He played 1 year there.
He was like that in the league, bro. He was
great.
He was
in 1 year. He was great.
He contributed heavily to 2 rings too. Like
y'all
got, and I know y'all got Chris Paul at 4. Like,
Wait,
but Walt Frazier,
Paul's on that team. in 2008-9, bro.
But he wasn't.
He got drafted. What you want him to do? He didn't get drafted there.
That's not the point. I don't care about what.
He got drafted to the Hornets.
How are you going to bring up Rondo?
That's like getting drafted to the Bobcats. What you want him to do?
Man, come on, let's move.
It's like getting drafted to the Kings. My bad. I'm sorry. That's too far. My fault.
I was on this
way too far.
Before we move on, Jordan, I want to know why you had Rondo at 10 on your list.
Because he knows
what is the top 10 point guard all time?
Number one, I would say every team Rondo been on, he impacted winning. And I can say that if he wasn't like with the Celtics, like say he won a championship with the Celtics, because he did. Without Rondo on that team, they don't win a championship. Like, I don't think so. Like, and his people would be like, well, we can insert this point guard, insert that point guard. I think that's two different things. Like, to deal with personalities, to understand his role and get everybody involved the way he do it, I don't think a lot of people understand like the importance of Rajon Rondo doing that, especially with the Lakers when he won with the Lakers too. You take him off that team, they don't win. Like
they do not.
Like games where Rondo, I know y'all remember too, games where Rondo was getting 40 in the playoffs. You talking about he'll get 15 rebounds or 10 assists. Like certain things he do, like you can't tell me another point guard is willing to do those things because he's the fourth, quote unquote, the fourth out of the big three. Now, I don't know Chris Paul. Yeah, I don't know if Chris Paul's willing to get 15 rebounds in the game. I don't know if he's willing to do that.
Williams could get some rebounds, but Rondo's my dude. I love Rondo.
Y'all gotta remember the impact he had on teams that he didn't win on.
Like the Pelicans.
You liked him in the Bulls. You liked him.
You know what I'm saying? Even he even made the Kings better. I wasn't saying
absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Like Rajon made things better, and you know what else? You know what else? He survived Rick Carlisle.
Actually, no,
he survived Rick Carlisle.
No, he got they sent him to the crib with Rick, but he came back and redeemed himself. He came back and redeemed himself.
They could have destroyed him. Yeah.
That's why he got survived it. Like he overcame that Rick Carlisle stuff.
Well, but don't y'all think to play with?
To your point, in 2020, I got reminded. I wasn't sure if playoff Rondo was a real thing. I wasn't sure of it, but then I saw in 2020, I got reminded. Playoff Rondo is a real thing. Yes, it is.
That's
it's not
100%.
something. It's not something that's that's just a phase. Or no, it's a real thing.
He was over there breaking Scotty. He was in Chicago breaking Scottie Pippen's playoff records in certain categories. That says a lot.
Even
if
he
don't break his hand, they beat that.
He didn't get hurt. That's my other. That's not even a conspiracy, chill. That man wasn't hurt. That was just the second time they had to send Rajon down because he was shaking up the league. They couldn't let him beat the Celtics. You think Rajon Rondo gonna go sit down because of a broke bone in his left hand? No way.
I just think like when you game on the 20th, so. I just think when you're dealing with like in 2008, 2009 when the Celtics won, right? When you swap them point guards out, you can give me a great. If you swap Chris Paul in it, there's a difference. Like you gotta manage personalities like Kevin Garnett. You got to get Ray Allen shots. You got to get Paul Pierce shots. You got to get everybody involved. What point guard is willing to say, I might not be able to shoot, or I might not be able to do what I'm normally doing, and I'll just go get rebounds. I'll just make sure I gotta sit. I'm gonna lock up. All of those things, like that's what I'm saying. Like
it's the lock up.
It's not plug and play, huh?
I say it's the lock up part for me because people forget he's 4-time all defense. Like Rondo steals champ in 2009, and Rondo was getting steals, not just.
For a guy like that couldn't shoot.
On ball steals in the passing lanes, anticipatory steals, all of that. Rondo was a minute.
And then even add to that, he had D Wade so frustrated. Y'all remember when D Wade grabbed him, pulled him down, and that's how he tore his elbow up. That was gonna beat Miami too.
Man, I'm telling you, man.
Respect on Rajon.
I think it just don't glow on the stat sheet like everybody would like it to glow, like some of these other point guards that they got, like Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul, big fan of Chris Paul too. But Chris Paul in the biggest moments, and I'm from Houston, so I watched him play with the Rockets. He always get hurt, or he turn the ball over when it's time to win the game. All the time.
So did you leave Chris Paul off your list?
All the time, huh?
You leave Chris Paul off your list?
No, I got him on my list. No, I got him.
Okay. I was just testing the word.
You got him lower than Rondo?
He had Rondo at 10. I got
him higher than Rondo. But I'm just saying, like, for the fact that for the guy that they say can't shoot, how does he affect the game so much if he's not this elite scorer? He's not this. How does he affect the game so much? It got to be something.
Yeah,
He really good.
Pace, passing, defense. Yeah.
I just
for the
At a
record,
high level.
Mars, for the record, I want to state that I also have Chris Paul in my top 10.
below Rondo.
I'll let this cat out the bag early. Chris Paul was on everybody's list.
Okay.
He was one of the five.
But,
Okay,
you know, Ron, everybody gonna think I don't got Chris Paul on my list, and I definitely do. I respect Chris Paul.
Yeah,
he was on your list. You just had him at 10.
He made the list.
I'm kidding. All right, relax. All right, so here we go, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the list. Shout out to Rondo. Shout out to Bob Cousy. Shout out to Walt Clyde Frazier. Shout out to Dame, and shout out to Gary Payton because he should be on this list ultimately. I almost rigged it to get my man on the list. I almost did that. And so this list starts off crazy. It really does. Like literally, it's like literally you guys are crazy for this man being number 10.
Oh, okay.
Let me get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the screen. This list starts off crazy. I can't believe that you guys would do my man like this. But at 10, we have Russell Westbrook.
I had him on my list for sure.
Make the list.
I had him at 10. I had him at 10
too. I had him at 10.
Are we?
Oh, so wait. Yeah. And so
That's crazy. I had him at 7.
Who didn't have him on the list?
I didn't have Russ on the list.
Yeah.
Who'd you have at 10?
Walt Frazier.
Okay. I had Frazier above Russ. So.
Really?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Can I say where I had Frazier since he's not on the list?
Yeah. I want to hear it.
I had Walt Frazier at 8. So.
I had Russell Westbrook at 7.
I forgot about Russell Westbrook.
No, you didn't.
Nah, you just ain't care.
My issue known Russ hater. Let's be clear, not hater.
I'm not a Russ hater.
No, he's not a hater. Let me take that.
Wait, what did you say? He has no anticipatory passing. That what
he
you
does
said?
not appreciate Russ at all.
He's a baller because he's just reactionary, which his ability to just react and do certain things should be praised, but he's not a thinking basketball player. Like
I agree with that, but he scored the ball so well, and
Right.
he put so much pressure on the rim, and he like rebounds as well too, and he play hard, and he gonna play every night. That makes up for him not, like manipulating the game like how those other point guards.
Can't we say the same thing about the only? What's the difference between him and Rondo? Because like if Russ would have won an NBA championship, this is what I'm asking. Because Rondo wins the NBA championship.
Right.
If Russ won an NBA championship, how are we talking about Russ? We talking about Russ way different.
Well, you
Absolutely.
have him
100%.
top 10.
Absolutely.
Way different.
Talk about him different. I would 100%. I would 100%
this is what
agree.
I'm talking about because when it matters. Winning 100% matters. The production matters. Winning matters. But with that being said, when I think about Russ and I think about the other point guards, yes, being smart and taking care of the basketball does matter. Russ had a season where he averaged almost 6 turnovers.
Right, but chill. You're asking what would have happened if he won a championship. Have you asked yourself why he hasn't won a championship? Because
KD left.
Because
KD left.
Well,
Because KD
how
ran
come-
down the stretch of
well, how
2016 in the Western
how
Conference Finals.
come?
Yeah, but
how
KD
come
definitely
they
played
let-
bad
they
in
was
that
up
series.
3-1? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah, but it wasn't Russ' fault why they lost. If you go back and look at it, KD played bad. Like KD was tripping. When they lost them 3-1 series, that was KD tripping. But I understand, Russ sometimes don't look.
They should have beat the Warriors, y'all. Let's cut the
I
nonsense.
would
Can we
agree.
talk
I
about
would
the
agree.
good?
Running back.
Yeah, that's
we
what I
talk
was going
about
to say.
the good?
Everything about what Russ
Can we
hasn't
talk
done.
about the
Now,
good?
and
Can we
let's
talk
y'all
about
are-
okay, Ron.
chill.
Okay,
Can we
Ron.
talk about an MVP?
I agree.
Can we
Let's
talk about an
I agree.
MVP? Y'all got Oscar
Never
Robertson
gonna
on your
agree
list,
with this,
right?
man.
Can we talk about the triple-double king?
Three
Can we
straight-
talk
three
about
straight-
probably the only
three
guy
straight
on
years.
this list to lead the league in scoring and lead the
straight
league in
years.
assists? Can we talk
Absolutely.
about that? Nah, y'all don't want to talk about that, huh?
Who's
I
y'all?
want to talk about turnovers.
Yeah, who's y'all? Who's
Can we
y'all?
talk about
I think James Harden played
I had him on my list.
Only 2 of us didn't have
This
Russ on the
many.
list. It was Chill and Orts. The rest
Can
of
we
us
talk
all had
about
Russ on the
this
list.
many?
And then they was
assist
yapping
champions?
about him in turnovers. So
Yeah,
it was them.
Four of us had Russ on the list. Jordan just said he had him at 7. Ron, I know
I do.
you had him around there. I don't know where you had him.
Mm,
Me and Swiper both had him on the. Yeah, I'm sure you
No,
did.
damn,
And me
my
and
bad, damn.
Where'd you have Russ?
Russell Westbrook is the 4th best point guard to ever play the game of basketball. He's that dynamic of a basketball player.
You say
I don't
4?
care what you got. Number 4 He is the
That means
most
you got him
dynamic
above
point
Christian.
guard,
Okay.
the most dynamic point guard that we've ever seen, excluding Magic. But in terms of the ability to score, the ability to pass,
See, this
the
is
ability to
bullshit
make
right
a
here,
play
Ron,
happen,
because this is
watch
what
the
you do. We do the
bullshit.
same
Watch the
thing with
bullshit.
Anthony Edwards, because we see a guy that's dynamic and he's got a lot of highlights, and automatically we forget all the
I
other
didn't say
stuff
nothing about highlights.
I'm 100%
I didn't say nothing
the
about
good stuff about
highlights.
his game.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
say
argue that,
nothing
Ron.
about
I'm not
highlights.
gonna, that's exactly what you said. When you talk about
said
him being
highlights.
dynamic.
He said
When you talk about
dynamic.
him
He said dynamic.
When you talk about him being dynamic, that's exactly what you're talking about.
No,
that
it's
right
not.
there.
No, he's
yes,
talking
it
about.
is.
I'm not.
He's
I
talking
never
about
said. I never
he
said
was
he's
relentless.
flashy.
That's
I never
what it
said.
was. It was
I never
And I'm
said
not
he's
arguing that.
flashy.
There's plenty of guys who were relentless. Now, let's be clear about one thing.
But they weren't as good as him.
Russ can retire today, and I don't think that there's many guys who have done what Russ did.
Fact.
But
No one has done what Russ did. No one.
You said number 4.
No one has done what Russ did.
Nobody
not
on
three
this
straight
list can
seasons
do what
of
Russell
triple
Westbrook does.
Not 3
Nobody.
straight seasons. It's triple
No one has done what Russ has done. No one.
no. I mean, Oscar Robertson 8 years, he averaged 30, 10, and 9. Russ didn't do that. He did not do that.
And Oscar Robertson never averaged a triple double 3 straight years. They both didn't do what each other did, but no one has done what Russ done.
The triple double logic, with the triple double logic, I mean,
It's watered down a little bit.
I don't think it's watered down. No, I don't think it's watered down.
It's watered down.
No, I don't think it's watered down. I think it's people who don't watch basketball. I think it's people who just see it as a triple double and they see Russ did it. They don't know how important it is, how difficult that is to be a 30 and 10 guy. That's hard as hell to do. To be a 25, 10 and 10 guy. That's not easy to do.
Russ basically had a 10-year stretch where he had 779 games played and he averaged 25.
At least you got your Rondo stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what we're doing.
But Ron,
Bucks have to go, so we saying goodbye to Ox. That's what. Yeah.
All right, Ox.
Goodbye, Ox.
Yep.
Damn, I just seen who Ron put at 9. Oh my god. Okay, interesting. I think Russ at 10 is fine. My issues with Russ was some of it was longevity related, and some of it was just how do I view him as a complementary piece. I don't know how I view him next to someone else in terms of some of the bad decisions, some of the questionable shots, all of those things. Like in a smaller role, do I think Russ is Russ? I don't know. And that's
what
why
do you mean? What do you mean in a smaller role?
Like next
Russ without KD, he was still Russ.
Yeah, in a bigger role, that's where you saw Russ at his best. In 15, 17, 18, 19, Russ was at his best. And he had the ball in his hands the whole game. He was running the show. But then my thought process was, how do I view Russ as that primary ball handler? Do I think he can lead my offense to high levels in the postseason? Do I think we can win that way? I don't know. And then if I don't know if I can win that way, how do I view him in a scaled back role where he doesn't have the ball as much, where he has to play next to someone else who may be better with the ball in their hands? Do I view him as an off-ball player as good as the other guys? Do I view him as someone who can be as good of a defender consistently as those guys? I don't know. That's why I had him behind Walt Frazier and the guy who I had at 9. I had them below because I view them better as complementary pieces. And I don't know how much I value what Russ could do as the focal point of an offense if I don't think the ceiling of that offense is very high.
But Mars, you saw him as that though. It's not like it's not like we're in year 2.
He wasn't a great compliment.
We seen the whole thing with Russ.
What do you mean he wasn't a great one?
We saw him with a
because even next to KD was the best player, but he wasn't complimenting KD. It was still.
What about when he was in Houston? What about when he was in Houston? Yeah, it was 27.
Yeah, I don't think that was a very good year. They had to trade bigs to make Russ work. Like that's why I talk about when it comes to fitting in, they had to get off Capella, play PJ Tucker and Rocco at the 5 to make Russ viable. And it worked, and it was a very good experiment. But when you have to alter your roster so much for a Russell Westbrook, do I think that's more valuable than someone who I don't like? For a Rondo example, Rondo, you don't have to alter your roster for Rondo. He's going to come in, he's going to give you what he gives you, and it's going to be valuable. Russ, you have to alter your roster.
That's a money thing, though,
to get the most out of Russ.
I think it's more of a money thing.
That's a money thing. That's not a personnel thing. That's a money thing. So that's why they had to alter the roster with the Lakers because of the money.
That was just not going to work. But the Capella thing was
I thought it would. I ain't gonna lie.
The Capella thing was a fit thing. It just didn't. Russ, because of his lack of outside shooting and the way D'Antoni ran his offense, they needed more spacing to maximize Russ. So you end up coming off a big and you end up playing 6'5" players at the 5 to make Russ have as much space as possible and to maximize what he can be, which is extremely valuable. But I just don't know. How do I say this as respectfully? I don't know if Russ is worth the hassle it is to maximize Russell Westbrook.
Do you think that Russell Westbrook can play the 2 guard?
Well, that's what
he played the two in college. He played the two in college, but
that's what I think he would play the two guard just as well as he played the point guard.
But didn't he do that in Houston with
no,
James Harden?
They had him in like kind of like in a forward role, man.
He was like being used as a screener and stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's bad coaching. And I like Mike D'Antoni. I like Mike D'Antoni a lot, but I don't think that they had to play him at that role because the Rockets at that time was liking threes. They wanted threes and layups, which kind of handicaps Russell Westbrook's game because it's like that ain't his game. But if you play him at a two guard and he can play off the ball, imagine trying to close out to Russell Westbrook and he blow by you every time, or you get him.
You don't have to close out to him though. That's the problem.
You might have to because he get a full head of steam. He can shoot the mid range.
Yeah, but then when the mid and that's the Russ where the mid range was going in. That's the like 17, 16, 15, like that Russ. But the Russ in like 18, 19, 20 and on, the jump shot fell off a cliff. Like that's not, you can look at statistically, you can look at eye test wise, he just wasn't making the jumpers that he that elbow pull up, it just went from 43% to like 36%. Like that's a big drop in terms of the efficiency and the productiveness of that. And then his role just started getting smaller. It's like, how much do we want the ball in Russ's
league
hands?
Kind of changed.
Now, Miles, what's the difference?
Yeah, the league did change beneath him. There is
that's
why I had him a bit lower because of just I think the scalability and the portability of Russ. And then as the jump shot fell off, it went left. So that's why I had him at 10. But I think he has to be top 10.
But with Mike D'Antoni's offense and it being wide open, I mean, Russ excelled in that offense in Oklahoma City with a big like Capella and Steven Adams.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't if the offense is even more wide open, that means Russ is attacking more. That means the game's faster. That means he's getting to the rim more. The secondary break is even better, and you got a big dive into the rim like Capella. Wouldn't he be even better running with a guy like that? I'd like
James Harden wasn't there, and that's the point. It's about fitting next Russ.
That year, Russ shoot. What was Russ shooting percentage? I can look it up. In that year,
it was 47% from the field and 25% from three, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Russ was never a long ball shooter. We know that.
Yeah, but for 47% and averaging 27,
that was his highest field goal percentage of his career. But that was because they put him closer to the rim. Like it was they tried. I think his 3-point volume went down from the previous years, and they tried to get him as close to the rim as possible to maximize him. But I think Russ and Capella with no James Harden, excellent tandem because Russ is going to get to the paint at will. He's going to make the laydowns. He's going to make the lobs. He's going to kick out to shooters. Right. But when he's next to James Harden, and we know what James Harden was at that time, he's going to have the ball in his hands. How does Russ fit next to that? That's the issue I have with Russ. How does he fit next to
if they ran it back, I think if they ran it back the next year, I think you would have seen a better structure. They gave up on it. Russ left the next year, James Harden left the next year. So it's kind of like, I don't know if they thought that was an all-in thing, just like they gave up on Chris Paul. I think you run it back with Chris Paul the next year, you might get
James Harden, Chris Paul dynamic just wasn't working. And not from a basketball sense. It was just them two. That's why that didn't work.
Yeah.
But I can understand having Russ higher, but that's why I had him 10th. But I think leaving him off the list, I'd have to see people's list, but I feel like
who else left him off? Who else left him off?
Chill.
I had him off.
It was just chilling. And Axel just left those two. But my thing is just I believe Russ just did too much at the point guard position in terms of just of course pure numbers, but pure dominance. I don't think nobody at the point guard position dominated the way he dominated.
Well, it depends on what you're defining dominance as.
From a box score perspective, he's right.
Yeah, but if you're just talking about on-court stuff, I mean, just even in this era,
even on court, nobody was as rough and rugged as Russell Westbrook.
What do you mean rough and rugged? When you say dominant, like
physically imposing.
No, there's no guard as physically imposing as Russell Westbrook.
And so it's just certain things like that why I got Russell Westbrook so high. But y'all know I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan. But let's go ahead and move on. At number 9, we have Steve Nash.
Steve Nash at 9
wasn't on my list.
I had him at 6.
I'm so sick of this, man. This is
wasn't on my list. I didn't have him on my list.
Yeah, I had Nash at 6.
So let me be clear. And this ain't for you, Jordan. This is just more so the narrative about Steve Nash, not directed at you. How I'm genuinely asking, and then maybe somebody can clarify for me, because I'm actually confused. This is not me playing confused, actually confused. For a society that values offensive basketball and shooting and scoring and passing as much as we do, How many players in NBA history have literally been able to be as efficient on that volume and as good of a passer as Steve Nash was at his apex in both the regular season and playoffs? Because I think that's where, as a shooter and distributor in playoffs and regular season, and for them not to be considered one of the greatest players at their positions, period.
Well, he is. Well, that's the thing, Swipe.
But not for most people. Some people don't have him.
I don't have him on my list, but I can tell you why I don't have him on my list.
I do have him.
Go ahead.
100%.
You have Rondo above Steve Nash?
Yeah, I do. But I'll tell you why. Because number one, Steve Nash had the ball in his hand all game long, right? All game long, he had the ball in his hand, and he averaged a decent amount of points, 18 points a game, I think, for his highest.
Yeah, I think 18.
And he averaged a decent amount of assists, right? Maybe 11 assists for his highest, maybe 12. I want to say 11. And I just think that for you to have the ball in your hand that much, we've seen guys who put the ball in their hand that much do way more. For instance, James Harden had the ball in his hand all game, just like Steve Nash did with Mike D'Antoni. You're talking about a guy that averaged 36 points a game and 10 assists or 11 assists. And I'm not saying that Steve Nash didn't have, the players that, people make the argument that Rondo had 3 Hall of Famers. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. But Steve Nash didn't have no slouch of a team either. The way that was designed and the way that Steve Nash had the ball in his hand, for what y'all saying that he is, I felt like if he would have averaged 24 points a game with the number of assists, we're talking about a different thing.
So
go
two
ahead.
things.
You can go before Michio if you would like.
So two things. When you bring up James Harden, so when Steve Nash was doing what Steve Nash was doing, it was the slowest era of the NBA when he was doing what he was doing. He was still averaging 19 and 11 in a slow era. That's and they were the fastest offense.
They were the fastest,
and they were the fastest off in a slow era. If it was more wide open than what it was, I mean, I think that he could have scored more than what he did. That's number one. Number two, there's plenty of guards who had the ball in their hand, but they weren't as efficient as Steve Nash was in terms of his assist to turnover ratio, his ability to get guys the basketball where they need to get the ball. They made the Western Conference Championship in 2006. No Amari Stoudemire. That's a first-team All-NBA performer. He ain't having the whole season. And they ended up making the Western Conference Championship. He's doing that with Boris Diaw and the guy that played for the Warriors, the shooting guy. Barbosa. Yes, he's taking those guys.
Barbosa was a 6-man. Barbosa was a 6-man.
Right. He's taking them to the Western Conference Championship in a nightmare of a Western Conference of a Western Conference. On top of that, Steve Nash's ability to take care of the basketball, to maneuver through defenses, to get to the rim, to be one of the better finishers in the game. Not only to be one of the better finishers in the game, also to play in the mid-range and in the mid-post, to shoot the long ball, to take care of the basketball. I can't see there aren't 10 point guards in NBA history better than him.
What did Rajon Rondo do you feel like do better than Steve Nash as a floor general?
As a floor general, I can say to me, I think that it don't matter who's on Rondo's team. I think he has the ability to make them 100% better, no matter who's on his team. I think Steve Nash, you have to have a plug and play kind of with Steve Nash. Like you have to have a guy that can shoot, I'm going to attack, and then this is where the guy's going to be. I think you can put Rondo with literally anybody, and he's going to make them better. It don't matter who's on his team. I don't think if you put Steve Nash on the Pelicans team that he does or the Bulls team that he does what Rajon Rondo does. I don't think so. I just don't think
Drew
so.
Holiday and Anthony Davis? What?
Anthony Davis.
Wow.
I love Anthony Davis, but him and Amari Stoudemire are probably about the same when it comes down to production. Go ahead, though.
No, I didn't want to cut you off. I just wanted to jump in, chill real quick. And
go ahead. No, go ahead. I don't mind.
So you just said that Rajon Rondo was not a positive floor spacer in your previous argument for him at his apex. Now, he could, 2020, he did hit his 3-point shots, I believe, in the playoff, 40+%,
sure.
Whatever else it was, on lower volume, but also key shots that he made. So you're saying that if you put Steve Nash, who is one of the best passers ever, and I would make an argument that in terms of half-court setting, there might not be 3 players that are better half-court passers than he is. Pocket
Rondo
passing,
not in that?
I don't think he's as good of a passer as Steve Nash. I mean, but that's me. And then on top of that, he's a better 3-point shooter than Rajon Rondo. He's a better mid-range shooter than Rajon Rondo. Gets to the rim at a fairly high frequency for what he did. good floater shooter, also was a good finisher on layups and even around contact and all that. So when you're saying like playing next to Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo did really well with Anthony Davis. Steve Nash, post Dirk, and even at that Dirk at that time, but even with Amari, had never played with a player as good as he was, meaning Anthony Davis was at that point in time when he was playing the Pelicans. That was a 28-12 AD who was in DPOY talks consistently.
It's almost 30-10, Swiper. What the hell are we doing?
But again, if you imagine, Jordan, if you would have put Steve Nash, MVP Steve Nash, when he was averaging like 18 and 11, shooting 44% from three, next to Anthony Davis, what they would have done to the Western Conference at that point in time, especially given how Anthony Davis is arguably the best vertical spacer we've had in the league post DeAndre Jordan at his apex as well. So you're telling me if you get a post scorer who's a relatively decent post scorer, a good mid-range shooter, and then also you get like a tier 1 defender next to Steve Nash, I mean, he would have I think that's what I'm saying about the confusion about Nash. I think most of the negative criticisms about Nash, not from you, but I think conversationally come from the MVPs over Shaq. And I think a lot of that affects the discourse about him. But if you watched him, he didn't underperform consistently in the playoffs. He didn't underperform in the regular season. He was great. And in the year he should have won his third MVP or the second MVP, he was even better than he won his second. But because of the narrative around him, he couldn't win. In the playoffs, Steve Nash was consistently a very good player. Now, had he had more adequate help, because remember, Amari Stoudemire injury, Sean Marion with wax and wane, Leandro Barbosa, if you would have gave him a more modern team with Drew Holiday, and then even they had, who was the center on that team? Was that Osik that year in 2016-17? Was that Omar?
He was out. He was.
Whatever. It really doesn't matter.
It might have been the Jensen in them.
If I just think that if you're saying that you think that Rajon Rondo was an elite floor raiser, even the numbers, which I'm not trying to get into basketball, I haven't brought up a lot of numbers. Even the numbers would say he never led an offense as potent as Steve Nash did at any point in time during Steve Nash's apex.
I don't think he had the ball. I don't think he had the ball as much as in his hand.
But he can't play off ball. But Rajon Rondo's not an off ball player though.
Yes, but this is what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you as far as what Steve Nash does consistently as a point guard, as a shooter, and as taking care of the ball. I'm 100% agreeing with you on that. But I'm saying Rondo may not score it as well as Steve Nash. But if you put Rondo with those guys like Stoudemire, Barbosa, Sean Marion, those guys average more points. That's all I'm saying.
They average more points with more limited floor spacing, though, in order to do their job.
I know, because I know everybody always say the floor spacing matters. When you seen Rondo, people back off of Rajon Rondo, what did he do? What did he do with that spacing?
He did.
He made reads.
Yeah.
He would close the space.
In the scouting report, they say if you let Rondo get back there, he's gonna pick you apart like a quarterback.
Now, with that being said, what I want you to do with those reads, imagine now Steve Nash makes those same reads, only except I can also knock down shots too. So in addition to me being able to knock down shots and making those reads, I make our offense even. I make our offense even more potent because now you have to crowd me because I pass off the dribble, I shoot off the dribble. I'm money 15 to 17 feet away from the basket, whether I'm catch and shoot or whether I'm shooting off the bounce. I can actually crack it in transition. You, Rondo, you're basically a pocket passer. I'm not just a pocket passer. I can throw it off the roll. I can throw it off a 3-step drop. I can throw it rolling left. I can throw it throwing right. So when you're talking about a guy like Rajon Rondo, sure, he can definitely read defenses. But when you add in the fact that I can shoot the basketball and not just shoot the ball and be a threat, I can shoot the basketball at a high level. I think that's where the separation is.
Okay. Are we not going to talk about defense?
No. Hold
on. It can matter. I just think Nash is so much better.
Hold on. Let me play coach's strategy right real quick and just playing devil advocate.
I'm sitting on the bench and I'm looking at the clipboard while you're talking.
Okay, so let me go into a scouting report, and this is what the Lakers did to Steve Nash. How about I just put Kobe Bryant on Steve Nash? How about I put Kobe Bryant on Steve Nash? Is Steve Nash as effective with Kobe Bryant on him doing what all y'all said?
What series are you talking about?
Can you give me the
reference? Talking about
in 2010 when they won in the Western Conference Championship.
Was it in 2010 when Steve Nash was excellent in that series?
And not just excellent in that series. Don't leave out the other two.
Steve Nash never played bad against the Lakers.
That's not what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to understand. Okay, but that's not what I'm saying. Go to the last 3 minutes of the game, right? Kobe gets on Steve Nash. What happens? Steve Nash can't get shots up. He's fumbling the ball. Why? Like, it's good in the beginning of the first, second, third quarter. Yes, he gonna go cook it.
Is Steve Nash a worse ball handler than Rajon Rondo?
No, he's not. I'm not saying that he's a worse ball handler, but I'm saying the Lakers put Kobe on Rondo with the Celtics. That's all I'm telling you. Like, he has the ability to, no matter who's the defender, he has the ability to be the same guy. I'm saying Steve Nash.
But I'm saying, if Steve Nash played, just for devil's advocate, or not devil, I don't like saying that term. Just to juxtapose that, if Steve Nash played next to Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett and the rest of that, and then Paul Pierce, you don't think they would have? Matter of fact, forget the first one. You don't think they would have won the second one?
Why wouldn't Kobe be guarding Paul Pierce?
Why wouldn't? What do you mean?
I'm talking about with the Celtics. I'm saying, if you remember in the Celtics series, Kobe had to guard Rajon Rondo. Why?
Rajon was good though,
because chasing Pierce and Allen around screens.
Yeah, and then they had multiple wing defenders on that roster too. That already
But,
other than
like,
Kobe.
on that crew. But I feel like there's not a
I think you missed the point that I was just trying to make, that Steve Nash is not the same guy when you put your best defender on him.
But when where's your evidence?
I'm not saying he's not good. No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm saying when you put your best defender on Rajon Rondo, nothing changes. Nothing changes at no point in the game.
But Rajon Rondo was their fourth best scorer, though. So, like, I guess what I'm trying to figure out, Steve Nash was in conversation, even with Amari. And again, if you just go back and remember those series, even with Amari on the court, was their best scorer down the stretch of multiple playoff series. The issue is that he didn't have adequate, consistent offensive help consistently to be able to end those series in the same way. So I guess what I'm asking is, if Steve Nash is in the end of these games next to these players, and you cannot gap off of Steve Nash because he's going to burn you from the mid-range or three, and on top of that, he might have an argument as the best pocket passer this side of 2000 since John Stockton we've seen in the league, including with Chris Paul in the league. So I'm saying, like, if you do play pick and roll with him, and then I do have an opportunity to find a pocket pass to KG or whoever else, like, what's changing about his game? Like, what's different?
And put a 6'7" guard on him like Kobe Bryant, and you make Steve Nash play one-on-one at the end of the game with the game on the line. He doesn't do what Rajon Rondo do with that basketball.
See, that's the difference, though. Steve Nash didn't have to do that, right? Steve Nash didn't have to play one-on-one. Not only did Steve Nash not have to play one-on-one, the difference in that series that you're talking about, it was Bryant. He had to play one-on-one. He was the one who closed out the games. It wasn't right. It was Bryant who was the one closed out the games. But Steve Nash still knocked down shots. Steve Nash still controlled the offense. He still was as dangerous as any of those guys, and as dangerous at any point of the game, because he was just as dangerous in 2007. He was just as dangerous in 2006 when they knocked the Lakers out of the playoffs, when they put Bryant on him at the same time. The difference was Bryant was better in 2010 at closing games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that was my only argument. I'm saying in that series when the Lakers beat them, when I'll go back and rewatch it, I'm talking about the one Ron Artest hit that crazy shot. I'm saying, if you pay attention to those last 3 minutes of that game, when Kobe said, "Bro, I got him," Steve Nash was turning the ball over. He was fumbling the ball. He couldn't get the ball to certain guys.
Nash is the number one option, though. When was Rajon Rondo ever the number one option?
But I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying, but even though that Steve Nash was the number one option, so Kobe Bryant still guarded him, just like Kobe Bryant guarded
but I'm trying to understand, though. Rajon has never been guarded consistently as the number one option to where he's facing the same coverages Steve Nash would be facing. Because if they treated Steve Nash as the fourth option defensively, they would lose. They would lose every single one of those opportunities. They wouldn't win anything.
That, but we talking about games with Rondo getting 40 in the game.
How many times did Rondo? Who got? Go ahead.
When the series that the Celtics lost to the Heat, Rajon Rondo was absolutely balling every game in that series. Every game in that. So I'm talking about was that the first year that they got there?
Who's a better playoff player
when they came back?
Rajon Rondo.
Who's a better what?
Playoff player between Steve Nash and Rajon Rondo.
If you want to go by scoring, obviously I would go Steve Nash.
Or passing.
When you're talking about impact, Rajon Rondo do these with anybody, with anybody. That's what I'm saying. With anybody, Rajon Rondo is going to perform in the play.
Did Rajon even make a first team All NBA? I just forget. I'm trying to get back to this.
Also, you understand how I'm not saying Steve Nash is not good. That's not what I'm saying. But I understand
we get that.
Games are, but teams are manipulated for players to perform in a certain light. and it's earned. He earned it.
Steve Nash, by the way, averaged 30 points and 12 assists and 7 rebounds versus the Dallas Mavericks in 2005. That's Rajon have a series that matches any of that.
30 and 20.
He shot 55, 42, 90 in that series, by the way. Does he have a series that touches that?
No, probably not. But what I'm saying is Steve Nash has the ball 100% of the game. We've seen numbers like James Harden. Nobody gives James Harden credit for what he did. Oh, he had the ball. He's doing, bro. James Harden averaged 37 points a game with about 10 assists, or 7.5. What did he do the year before? 11.5.
Yeah, but
you talking about the whole game? I get the ball the whole game.
It's not about the number. Like Steve Nash could have had the ball the whole game and put up 11 points. Like it's not about the numbers.
Which is what Rondo did.
The Suns' offense. When you talk about impacts, that's what confuses me. Like the Sun of the 10 best offenses of all time in the regular season, Steve Nash was on 5.
That's half.
That's not an opinion. That's just a fact. He was the point guard for 5 of those teams. And then in the playoffs, if I do the same thing, the best playoff offense of all time, factually, is the 05 Suns. Now they lost because of defense and a bunch of other reasons. Sean Marion playing like doo-doo in the conference finals. But like even that 2010 Lakers series you're alluding to, the Suns' offense was a plus 15 against that Lakers team. But we're like, oh, in the last 3 minutes, Steve Nash struggled. Their offense was performing at all-time heights every single year, and it's not because Steve Nash was putting up 18 and 11. It's about how is he generating shots for his teammates. You said, because I just started looking up a bunch of numbers to see what was true. You said like Rondo would make his teammates better like Steve Nash. Like from 05 to 2010 in the playoffs, Steve Nash, when he was on the court, his teammates had a 58 true shooting. When he was off the court, it dropped to 53. Like their efficiency.
That's not that big of a difference, and that's
a huge difference when we talk about the most efficient offense ever to a relatively average.
I'm talking about it's not that big of a difference.
That's a huge difference. You're talking about their points per game will go up. But yeah, no, but you said their points per game will go up if Rondo was there instead of Steve Nash. But when I'm talking about efficiency, the reason I bring up efficiency is because we're talking about these offenses and how good they are. A 5% drop in true shooting is huge when they were the best offense ever, and they drop from that to an average offense when Steve Nash is off the floor. When we're talking about elevating an average offense without you to some of the best offenses you've ever seen, that's impact. It doesn't matter if Amari Stoudemire is averaging 26 with Steve Nash or he's averaging 24. It's not about the points per game the individuals put up. It's about how the team is performing offensively, and that's what Steve Nash maximizes. It's not about whether he's scoring 20. It's about if the team is scoring 120. Whether Steve Nash is the one creating every shot with 11 assists or he's getting playmaking without getting assists. It's not about the box score with Steve Nash. It's about the fact that, like you said, he's dribbling the ball every play. Every play is running through Steve Nash. He's anchoring that offense. He's deciding who scores, who gets the ball where, and they are factually the best offenses of all time. You can't say that Steve Nash has the ball the whole game and then not give him the credit for them being the best offenses of all time in the same breath. If we can acknowledge they're the best offenses of all time and you're acknowledging he has the ball the whole time, that means they are the best offenses of all time because of him. And Rajon Rondo and no one really is capable of doing that. The only times we've seen people do that is Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, and Steve Nash.
And James Harden.
James Harden never led the offense that was the best of all time. You can say not the best of all system, but that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about elevating offense.
You're comparing counting
James
stats,
Harden
though.
can put up as many box score numbers as he wants. He can have 36 and 7.5. He can have 28 and 11. He can have 13 and 9. But their offenses weren't as good as the Suns. So why does the box score numbers matter if the team performance from the Suns is clearly better offensively? James Harden can put up more individual numbers. That's fine. But if the team is performing clearly better with Steve Nash, despite the fact he averages 10 less points, despite the fact their assist numbers are relatively the same, but the team just clearly performs better with Steve Nash, why can't we look past the box score and say clearly there's something this guy is doing that is creating great offense? You look at 05 with Stoudemire, 06 without Stoudemire, still one of the best offenses. 07, his best ever season. The only reason they lose is because of some stupid suspensions. Then they get a new coach in 2010, Alvin Gentry. They're the best offense in the league again. They're the best offense in the postseason. Steve Nash is the common denominator.
They didn't change the formula. When they got Alvin Gentry, they didn't change the formula. When they got Alvin Gentry, they didn't change the formula.
That goes to the point, though. If Steve Nash is the constant for a decade, over a decade, and they're still leading great postseason offenses in regular season, even though they're changing coaches and personnel, that tells you that the crux to making it all work is Steve Nash, despite the fact that he didn't average a high volume of points. But that goes to how he plays, because he wasn't a selfish player and because he was one of the best passers of all time. But even still, if you're getting 18, this is what I'm confused about. Even still, if you think Steve Nash wasn't scoring enough, he was still getting 18 on 50 40, 90. Like,
I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I am saying,
Rondo never could do that.
No, I'm hearing
Jordan, make this last point, and then we got to move on because we got 8 other guys we got to get to.
Okay, got you. I'm hearing y'all with this point about Steve Nash and the true percentage, and I want to kind of respond when you was like, if you take Steve Nash off the court, they become an average team, or they become an average, as far as pace in the league, or whatever you were saying about the true shooter. That's not that big of a drop off. If you take any star off the court, that's what happens most of the time. So what I'm saying is,
I'll take him last year, for instance.
Okay, I'm saying most of the time, but I got you.
You know what's coming, Mars. You know what's coming.
I want to try to dig.
I got you. But all I'm saying is, when you take players off of that team and you say, did their career get impacted worse because they wasn't playing with Steve Nash? Our Stoudemire went to New York and did the same thing. Sean Marion
No, he didn't.
The next year, what did Amar Stoudemire average when he went to the Knicks?
But that's why I say it's not about average.
What?
Okay, we're going to it's not about averages. It's just like it wasn't the same thing. It just wasn't. But if you want to say it's the same because he was still putting up 25,
the same thing? They average the same amount of points.
Because the same amount of points isn't the same thing. Are you going to equate Kobe's 35 to James Harden's 36 and say they did the same? Is that the same thing to you?
As far as impacting the team, no, it's not. But I'm saying
it's not the same thing.
Stoudemire impacted the Knicks just like he impacted the Suns. That's all I'm saying.
No, and I'm saying no. He was factually more inefficient. They
didn't go to the Western Conference Finals.
The amount of isolation, you can go look this up. The amount of isolations he had from 2011 in the Knicks to 2010 in Phoenix, his isolation percentage went through the roof. You know why? Because he didn't have Steve Nash creating for him. Amari Stoudemire was a great player. He could score with or without Steve Nash. But there was a clear difference in how efficient he was, how easy his offense was, and how easy the game was for Amari Stoudemire with and without Steve Nash. There's a reason that Knicks team wasn't the best offense you ever seen. There's a reason for that. Because
but when you say the best offense, but hold on, because I know they break these. Rick Carlisle break these records a lot. Number one, these best offense.
Not about right now. Relative.
No, I get you. But when we say the best offense we ever seen, all I'm saying is everybody loved that stat. But when it comes down to winning, why it don't work? It's always something why it don't work. This guy play like trash. This guy play like trash.
It didn't work for a myriad of reasons. In 05, it didn't work because
it's always this guy play like trash. That play like that. It don't work.
Yeah,
well, there's a reason.
It didn't work because some players had bad series at the wrong time. It also didn't work because Amari Stoudemire was clearly not a 5. So them putting Amari at the 5, while it helped the offense, it clearly hurt their defense
at all time. Then how's it the best offense?
Because their offense was still the reason they lost is not because their offense didn't perform. Every postseason their offense performed. The reason they lost is because their defense was bad. And now if we want to get into the Rondo and Nash conversation, let's talk about defense because Nash was a horrible defender and Rondo wasn't. The reason they lost was never, and I want to emphasize, never because their offense did not perform. Never. Every series they lost, their offense was elite. The reason they would lose is because defensively they were not very good. Amari Stoudemire at the 5, a team defense, and Nash was a contributor to that. Absolutely.
So
Amari Stoudemire at the 5 was
numbers at points
Amari Stoudemire at the 5 was.
Yeah, I can go through. But hold on, but if you don't have a structural, you just brought up Kobe guarding Nash, but then they had multiple wing defenders that allowed for them to deploy a defense that was literally the reason. Never mind, I'm about to go on a whole other second.
Yeah, we got it. That would be a long argument. We'll save this debate for another day. Steve Nash and Rondo.
I think that's a great debate.
Jordan, you don't stand by yourself. Big Ox agrees with you. He's not here to defend them. Also, personally, I got Rondo above Steve Nash too. But
Phoenix is winning games in the playoffs 125 to 121. They losing games 126 to 120.
They never lost because they couldn't score. They never lost because they couldn't.
That was never the problem. Ever.
Their offense was always elite.
Ever. It was never.
We have our problems with Steve Nash. Offense should not be one of them.
Here we go, fellas. So we got Westbrook at 10. We got Steve Nash at 8. Mm-hmm. Now at 7.
At 9. We got Steve Nash at 9. Focus, Ron.
At 8. I got my man. Some people will argue he's not a point guard. Some people argue he is, but it's Jerry West.
When you said that, I was about to lose my mind when you said that.
Well, Jerry West, wait, did you say Jerry West didn't apply?
No, he said Jerry West didn't apply.
That's why.
Oh, I didn't put him on because I thought he didn't apply. He would have been much higher. Oh, yeah. Oh, move him up for me, please. If that's the case. Move him up.
So that means you're taking Westbrook off the list?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, if we're adding Jerry West to the list, go ahead and put Jerry West. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, put him at 4.
I did the same thing you did when I couldn't put James Harden on there. I took James Harden off and I put Jerry West at 5 because I didn't think Jerry West could apply. Like I'm not like you talking about the 70s. That's kind of like, but I respect Jerry West's game. 100%.
Okay, the 70s he was over. The 70s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like he ended his
cool
career
Mars
in
is
the 70s.
different than what he was in the 60s.
Oh yeah, but he was cool.
For
Like,
sure.
He was cool in the 70s. But
yeah, I agree. I'm saying that he ended his career in the 70s, so I was kind of
yeah.
I didn't want to put him on there, but if I can't put James Harden on there, I'm putting Jerry West right there.
Yeah.
I had Jerry West at 3.
Yeah,
So,
I don't. Yeah, if we're doing
got him at
all
5.
Jerry West included, he's 4. He's behind my big 3. So he's
so I had him at 3. So I'm assuming I had him the highest, but yeah.
No, I had him at 5. I'm sorry, I didn't have him.
Yeah, I got him at 5 too.
I had him at 5.
So he would have been higher if Swipe had him on the list. So this 7 is like with asterisk,
which kind of goes
Yeah,
against
for
my
sure.
reasoning. But all right, I get it.
Yeah, I had to put him at 3. I'm so
people in the chat just understand how lists work. The reason why Russ specifically would be off because Russ is 10 for me. So therefore, Jerry West goes up. You knock the first one off. I mean, it's not because Russ is a bad player or I was arguing with Russ just 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. We was just saying how Russ should be on the list. It's just I don't know how high I could really go with him. But Jerry West for me was 3. I've said before on this show or maybe the Open Gym, I think he was the best scorer of his era. Postseason, regular season, whatever you want to call it. Defensively for a guard, he was elite. They don't track like blocks and stuff, but he was getting blocks, like help side rim protection, everything. Jerry West did everything. He could pass, especially later on in his career. His playmaking really developed. And I know like the championship thing, I don't really care about that, but he always played well in the playoffs for the most part. Like, there was
have any of y'all ever met Jerry West? Have any of y'all ever met Jerry West?
I've met Jerry
I
West.
wish. No, rest in peace.
I have too. I would much rather say Jerry West is taller than what they say he is. Number one.
A bit of 6'4". A bit.
Yeah,
of it.
yes,
Every
yes.
bit of it.
I think he might be. I think he might be taller than 6'4". To be honest with you, he might be taller than 6'4". Like he is an old man when I met him. So imagine he's younger.
You shrink when you get old.
Yeah, I imagine he's much taller. I'm like, dang, dude, I thought you was gonna be. I'm like 6'2 and a half, 6'3". I thought we was gonna be same height. No, and he's an older man. Like I'm like, nah, they lied about his height for sure.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, Jerry West averaged 40, 34, 30, 40 on playoff runs. So,
to your point,
probably the biggest guard.
He had a 5-year stretch in the playoffs. We averaged 35 a game.
Yeah, I'm good.
For 5 years in the playoffs.
I'm good.
So
and he won, and he was a great playmaker too.
He averaged.
Yeah, and his playmaker's underrated. His defense, he was. I want to say he was probably the best guard defender in.
And not just a bucket getter. Don't forget, it was also with 8 assists too. He was doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
He
was doing the best he could to win. He was doing the best he could to win. That's why he was getting buckets.
They ain't lose because of Jerry West. They didn't.
Yeah,
he was playing defense. He was blocking shots. He was I want to say when I'm watching him, like 5-6 steals a game.
60, maybe.
Like that's why I'm watching like 5-6 steals a game.
69, yeah.
And he got everything's a mid range because there's no threes, but like jumper was automatic. He got to the line. He could finish at the rim. One of the
he was what everybody would call a dog now. Like I mean, he was
one of the few who would actually dribble with their left. So like if you hold that against the 60s, he was dribbling left. Like Jerry West was special. I had him number 3. I think the longevity is impressive for the time.
So you got him. You got him in front of one person. I know who it was too. But it was tween.
Yeah, I went with him because of the 2-way value.
Mm-hmm.
The scoring I think was better, especially in the postseason. I think the other guy's the better playmaker, but I'm valuing the defense in that case.
I mean like I said, I messed the list up because I didn't put him on, but he should be higher.
Yeah, so
you had
Jerry West
going
to be on everybody's list.
Oh yeah, well, not even a question. That's that like.
Oh, he was over 6. I had Nash at 6. Nash wasn't in that 10.
Okay.
I got Steve Nash, but I'm not gonna lie about how good I think he is. He's not Jerry West.
Okay. All right, y'all. Moving along. Here's the list on the screen. The next person that we have at 7 is another guy that was on everybody's list.
Jason Kidd got to be
Chris Paul.
7? Oh,
that's interesting.
Love CP3.
I have him at Ron.
Love CP3. I'm not mad at that.
I think I had.
I might be.
I
had Chris Paul at. I had Chris Paul at 8. I want to say, but
8.
I feel like.
Did you have him? Where was Rondo at? You had him at 10.
Yeah, I had Rondo at 10.
Nash off, but why would you have Chris Paul on and Nash off?
I actually have Nash at 11, but it's okay. I had him for like honorable.
That's too
low for my reasons. But for my reason, but also I also want y'all to get this understood too. I'm not disagreeing with y'all anything about stats. I'm a harder critic when it comes down to when a game is on the line. What do you do? And I understand that same thing with Chris Paul, but like I understand like Chris Paul at least got to the finals. At least got to the finals.
He did win
21.
Yeah, but
at least got to the finals. No,
I don't want to.
And I seen Chris Paul. And I seen Chris Paul with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who was supposed to be a rebuilding season, take them to the playoffs.
Not rebuilding. They're supposed to be garbage.
Wait, Mars. I know where you're going.
Let's also acknowledge that the
That's my
Suns were a
criteria.
29-win team before Steve Nash got there. The Suns were a 29.
Yes, but you're talking about the Thunder who just traded their best players.
No, but they were better.
The Suns just got off their point guard Stephon Marbury, 29 wins. Bring in Steve Nash, 60 wins.
Stephon Marbury and Russell Westbrook and Paul George are.
I'm not saying it's the same equivalent. I'm saying they were 29 wins with Stephon Marbury. They removed Stephon Marbury, add Steve Nash, 60 wins, best offense in NBA history. Yeah. That has to mean something.
It does mean something, but I'm saying that team ain't tore up like how the Thunder team was tore up.
What do you mean tore up? They were
yeah, and that's why the Thunder. What
do you mean?
They weren't tore up. They sucked. How old are you, Jordan?
I'm 28. I'm 28.
So we all the same age. You saw chill, and you were older enough. You saw that Suns team.
If we're being honest,
they sucked.
No one had the Suns doing it.
They sucked.
They were bad.
And then nobody thought Steve Nash. Nobody thought Steve Nash was going to do what he did.
I agree. But was Amari Stoudemire over there when Steve Nash got there?
Yes, Amari was there. Yeah.
Who was the Amari Stoudemire on the Thunder?
The Thunder.
I agree.
Who's there was no Amari Stoudemire on the Thunder?
That's why the Suns' ceiling was the conference finals and the Thunder's ceiling was respectfully the first round. That's why there was a difference in level in terms of what the teams.
I'm just saying.
The Thunder won like 40 games. Congratulations.
So if you put Steve Nash over there, without, and that was before Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was who he was.
It was Dennis Schroeder, I think. Danilo Gallinari.
But if you put Steve Nash over there without
and
I want honest answers. We want honest answers.
Yes. You have no idea who's going to be an elite player over there with the Thunder. You have no idea because remember, Shai just came off of playing with the Clippers, which Doc didn't play him that much like how people think he did. So you have no idea Shai's going to explode into what he's going to be. You put Chris Paul over there and y'all make the playoffs and take the Houston Rockets to a Game 7.
But why does CP3 get more credit for that than Steve Nash taking to the Western Conference?
No, hold on. But I'm asking you, does Steve Nash does that? Because we seen Chris Paul we seen Chris Paul turn Pelicans into a good team. We seen him do that.
Well, Chris Paul's higher on the list than Steve Nash, though.
Yeah, I want to also clarify. I have Chris Paul.
No, but you asked me about my list or why I had Chris Paul on the list and Steve Nash.
Because you're talking about floor raising. But you're bringing up floor raising, and I'm saying Steve Nash one of the best floor raisers ever, though.
That's my issue. Isn't that you have Chris Paul about Steve. Not my issue. And I said like Steve Nash did these things.
No, but look, I'm not disagreeing with y'all. I said my criteria is impact, like how winning matters. And
but you're talking about floor raising, though, Brody.
No, but I'm saying with anybody on your team. I'm not saying you have to have a all-star with you. I'm saying anybody on your team. Watch what Chris Paul do. Watch what old Chris Paul do with the Spurs this year. Watch what he does.
Oh, don't get me started. No, I get it. I agree. Look, I'm not saying I disagree. They got no. Matter of fact, Jordan, you look like my kind of guy. Morris, you hush real quick. You tell me, Fred VanVleet or CP3 for the first 2 months of the year. Fred VanVleet or CP3 the first 2 months of the year. Tell me. Go ahead, Jordan. CP3 with Victor Wembanyama.
Next season.
CP3.
I told y'all. The coach knows. The coach knows.
I like Fred VanVleet too, but he's not what he's not.
Knows his feet.
If he was with the Rockets this year, they probably would be a higher seed. To be honest with you, like they probably would be in that play in for sure. If Chris Paul's with the Rockets.
Steve Nash did these things. Like even 06 without Amari, 54 wins, second best offense in the league, I think.
But Amari Stoudemire is an all-star.
Without him, he did it. In 06, without him, no Amari, he still did it.
Nobody was an all-star in 06 with the Suns.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think so.
I know Leandro Barbosa was on the team, right? Was he six man?
Was he six man? I'm like
and Bell and
sure they wasn't, because I highly doubt it, but I might be wrong.
I could be wrong too.
I'm gonna check.
But that was my reason.
Sean Marion made it. I don't want to see.
I was thinking that, but somebody had to have because they were.
Why
so
was Sean?
good.
Sean Marion was take Sean Prince in that roster, bro. Let's not do this. Let's not.
Sean Marion was a killer, man. Sean Marion was like
he was a play finisher and he was a elite defender, but he wasn't there because he was a great offensive player, like without Steve Nash. He was a really
what did he average? What did he average? About 18, 16, 18?
You know what he was doing? You know what he was doing? He was doing exactly what you coached him to do.
How many did he average?
22.
He complimented.
I don't know how that's not a
Steve Nash
testament to Steve Nash. I don't know how that's not a testament to Steve Nash.
It's a testament to both of them, though. Like they both compliment each other perfectly. Sean Marion knew how to move without the ball. He knew how to run the court. Steve Nash could throw it up to the rim. He going to get it.
And somehow he can make jump shots.
So let me ask y'all this. I want y'all honest answer. If you had to start a team from, and like, okay, we got not start a team, but if you had a player like, you had a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, correct, right? And they just lost all their players, and you had to pick between Steve Nash and Chris Paul. And you said we need you to make the playoff. Right, that's all I'm saying.
Apex Chris Paul is better than Steve Nash, though. No one disagrees with you.
But that's why he asked me why.
So we're saying, hold on. All time ranking. But you bringing up Rajon Rondo though. That's what I'm saying. That's what bothers me.
I think Rondo do that with the Thunder too.
No, he wouldn't.
He ain't even doing it. He ain't doing it.
He was in the league at the time.
We gotta move on, y'all. We can't go back to the Rondo.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Even though it's a good ass argument, we gotta keep it pushing. Because
Steve Nash being disrespected, man. That's all I know. But we can.
Okay, cool.
I gotta get to the next name on the list, y'all. At 6, coming in hot, we have.
This is probably gonna be JK.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
It is Oscar Robertson.
I didn't have it on my list.
That was my 4. That was my.
I have on my list, but I respect it. I didn't have.
You didn't have Oscar on your list at all.
It's a certain thing. Reason why I like.
Wait, why?
A certain thing.
There's a T in Robertson.
He said it's a T in Robertson. It's just kind of the same reason. Like what with Jerry West. I guess I could replace if Jerry West and Oscar Robertson was interchangeable for me because it's like kind of hard for me to give a true passionate opinion about those two guys because they like so far above my time, even without the film. So it's like, I can't really, it would be hard for me to debate with you passionately about why he shouldn't be on your list or why he should be on your list. Like that would be my argument, but I can debate you about Magic Johnson because it's a little bit closer.
Do you think Rajon Rondo is better than Oscar?
He just thinks
I can't even debate you. I can't even debate you on that. Yeah, like
it's just like a lack of.
Really, this should be an eye test list. Then, if we're doing an eye test list, then my number one ain't Magic. I tell you that right now.
We can't do an eye test list, but I'm saying I can't passionately debate you because if you tell me something like I can't say like, well, I witnessed this, like what I'm saying about Steve Nash or Rondo in the playoffs. Like I can't passionately debate you about that.
Yeah. I saw Mo Williams give me 50 when it mattered most. So
you saw who?
Mo Williams.
Shout out to Mo Williams, man. He was one of my honorable mentions. But yeah, I had Oscar.
No.
Honorably mentioned
Honorable mention for what? 6th man of the year? Top 10 6th man of the year?
I can't respect Mo Williams. But I had Oscar number 4. Just that offensive engine he was in the 60s was special. Mm-hmm. But I did deliberate about, am I going to rank like the guys from the 60s? I ultimately decided to do it. But if I wasn't going to, that's why I would have left him off. But Oscar was just an offensive engine. Best playmaker in the league, like for like the whole decade. It felt like elite scorer, elite jump shooter. What held him back from me from West, personally, was the defensive gap. Also, I don't think he was as good of a scorer. And then also, I think the longevity thing was neck and neck. So it just ended up being a defense and scoring.
And that's where the divide is with myself and you, Mars. When you say you don't think he was as good of a scorer, I don't think the scoring gap was that far apart, but I do think that the other stuff was. When I think about what he was, the reason why Cincinnati played the way that they played, Oscar was a glass cleaner at the lead guard spot, which is nuts, playing in a big man league with Chamberlain and Bill Russell and Walt Bellamy and guys like that. The fact that he was a double-digit rebounder, the fact that he was a double-digit assist man also, right? So the fact that he was doing that stuff in a league where it was big guys, and the fact that he could score like he could score. He was a scorer who distributed. And he did it in the postseason, too, when it mattered. I think he's one of 3. Let's see. Magic, Russ, Nash, Curry. He's one of 5 point guards to win league MVP. There aren't many other guys who've done that except him. And the fact
that on that list next.
and SGA is coming. But with that being said, he had the misfortune, because we talk about winning, and I talk about winning mattering as much as anybody does. He just had the misfortune of continuously running into the Celtics. That was his problem. He couldn't get past the Celtics, just like Jerry West had the misfortune of running into Boston. That was the.
They're another team that lost because their defense was trash. Like they never lost because of their offense. Similar to the Steve Nash, they only lost because their defense was trash. So I don't really hold that against Oscar. I acknowledge he wasn't a great defender. Same thing I do with Steve Nash, but I don't really hold that against him. Another thing with Jerry West and Oscar was Jerry West could play on and off the ball. It was on the ball with Oscar. Oscar has the ball the whole time. He's dictating everything. But once you get
Oscar Robertson 6'5", Oscar Robertson 6'5".
Okay. But see, Mark, that's where the divide is, because when we're talking about when we're talking about offenses at that time, I don't think that we equate offense now to back then. When a guy throws the ball into the post, which the game was predicated around the big man, I really didn't have to do that much off the basketball like you do today.
But Cincinnati didn't do that though. They were like the one team that didn't play through the post though. They would give Walt Bellamy and them touches, but they didn't play through the post.
But here's the difference though, Miles. When Wayne Embry did touch the ball on the block, when Walt Bellamy did touch the ball on the block, it was basically just cut to the basket. It wasn't doing a whole lot of other stuff like you see today, where you got a lot of action off the basketball. When you threw the ball into the post, cut to the basket, but let the big man go to work. But Oscar, on the other hand, Oscar was creating a lot of stuff. He was creating a lot of stuff for those guys. That was primarily his job. So when I think about Oscar, I had Oscar higher than 6. I didn't have him at 6. I had him higher than that.
I had him at 4. So
that's what I had him at. I had him at 4. So that 30, 10, and 9 for 8 years. I'm sorry. That's hard to move.
And he got the chip in Milwaukee as like the second option next to Kareem. Like,
yes, he did.
He was still good back then. Like he wasn't 30 a game, but Oscar was still very good in 71.
He wasn't over. He could still play.
Now 72 wasn't great, but like 71 he was still. But 71
point.
he was still really good. So like I value that too. Like he was really good for like a decade. And being good for a decade in the 60s is like being good for 15 years in the modern game. So like air attacks. So that's why I had him so high.
All right, y'all. This is the list right now in case you are just now tapping in or in case you missed it. At 6, we have Oscar Robertson. At 7, we have Chris Paul. At 8, we have Jerry West. 9, Steve Nash. And at 10, we have Russell Westbrook. That's the list right now. I just put up a poll. Asked you guys, do you think this is a dub list or an L list? Are we winning so far or are we losing? Go vote on that poll. Let us know how you feel about the list. And we will get to the top 5. I'm just going to go ahead and read some super chats. But before I do that, I want to shout out to all of our members. Definitely shout out our Hall of Fame members. Shout out to everybody that's subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, I'm working on being a better person, so I'm not going to say what I should say. But if you haven't subscribed, just know I feel a type of way about you. So hit that subscribe button. And to everybody else that's in the comments, salute to you guys. Appreciate you for sticking around. As we all know, the chat clears. Make sure you slap that like button and go vote on the poll as well. Let's get into it, y'all. Oh, and also, starting on September 4th, the PCL playoffs will kick off. So that should be a good time. That will be a good time. And
Swiper, who is that?
I hope to see you there.
What's up, Chill?
Who is that?
This is Doc. Remember I told you I'm in Texas. This is one of my Baylor colleagues, one of my homies.
Okay.
That's him and this is him and his wife's dog, a year and a half old. His name is Doc.
Nice.
Good boy. You know, he ain't Chad. You know, I got that Connie Corso at the crib for when she'll come through talking that yap. Feel me?
All right, so we have a couple.
Hey, Ron, if I get Chill on video salsa dancing this weekend, by the way, I need you to post it ASAP.
I got you. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen. Drink More Agua sent through a super chat or a member chat. He's been around for 18 months. He said, don't feel bad, Jordan. It's Player's Choice tradition to dig into any list/ranking a guest might have and squeeze every imperfection until you are questioning your own basketball knowledge.
I think it was a good conversation.
It's just, I do too. It's just high-level conversations, basketball talk, debating back and forth. Alan Middleton also became a member today. Shout out to him. Riddell, Purple Political Breakdown. Y'all know who he is. He's been around for a long time, but shout out to him for re-upping his membership. Elias Aronson has been a member for 19 months, and he asked a very valid question. Trae Young honorable mention?
Now, he wasn't. I want to say Luka Doncic was an honorable mention.
Yeah,
I just want to put that. Luka
just hasn't accomplished anything at all. But if we had a An alley-oop thrower list. Trey might be at the top. Trey might be at the top. That's a
lob
fact.
threat.
A lob thrower. Yeah, Trey might be at the top. 1,000%. Who would you rather throw a lob, John Stockton or Trey Young? Chill.
I dare him to lie.
John Stockton or Trey Young?
Trey. There we go.
Is there video evidence of John Stockton throwing a lob, Chill?
Oh, of course it is. I mean,
there's who caught him, Malone?
100%.
Karl Malone is not the center. It's like, well, why throw a lob when I can throw the ball down to Karl Malone every time because was a top 5 scorer of all time. Like
top 5.
They throwing lobs, top 5 scorer of all time, but they throwing a lob to guys like Clint Capella and Jackson Hayes at one point. Like that's because that's the only thing they can do. Like they can't play out of.
He was throwing lobs to Brian Russell. He was throwing lobs to Malone. He was throwing lobs to Mark Eaton. He was throwing.
But I don't think lob throwing. I don't think lob throwing. Ocean I can see it.
Yes. I mean, he could dunk, but he wasn't like a jumper.
I just think the game was played differently. Like
that was less.
I wouldn't pick Trey Young over John Stockton, to be honest with you, though.
In this era, who'd be better right now, Trey Young or John Stockton? Jordan?
I think John Stockton would be a lot better than what you think he would be. Like
better than Trey Young.
He'll be TJ McConnell for sure.
No,
I'm thinking about it.
Jordan, don't go down this road, Jordan. It's a rabbit hole. You don't want to get sucked into.
We don't respect TJ. We don't respect TJ.
I'm not saying I don't respect him, but that's crazy. No,
don't do
it. Wait, hold on, Jordan. Be real. Would John Stockton be a top 4 point guard in the league right now? Would he be better than Jalen Brunson?
Yes.
At what, Chill? At what?
We're going
you're only looking, but you're only looking at. But you got to understand, you're looking at it from a lens of in today's society, they don't play systematic basketball. They play pretty much like a free flowing, freelancing style of basketball.
Defend either, and you don't like non-defenders.
That is not true. He couldn't defend.
Think about SJ doing John Stockton right now.
That is not true.
Turn around.
If TJ McConnell get on the people like that, John Stockton will do the same.
Give me John Stockton on an island.
I like TJ McConnell, but there's no comparison when it comes down to what they would be. John Stockton would be a top 4 point guard for sure. For sure.
Would he be better than SJ and Luka?
Yes, I think so because the game will be wide open for him. Like y'all don't understand the difference in the game.
You think he's better than Luka Doncic?
I don't think he's better than Luka. No,
I don't think he's better than Luka Doncic, but I think he would be up there with him. The game would be wide open for him. Like you have to understand, like they didn't play basketball like how they played now. Like I'll sit at night, I watch all old games. Like that's all I watch. And the game was played totally different. Like
what you dudes are doing right now.
John Stockton wouldn't be better than De'Aaron Fox.
These are the conversations I said I didn't want to have because it just says
you started it. That's what I told you.
You started it, Miles. You started it.
I just said TJ McConnell.
This the better question. This the better question. If you put those guys, if you swap eras and they have to play like that, are they as efficient and effective as John Stockton? And I don't think so. I think it benefits them in this generation more.
If this was the 90s, Luka wouldn't be in the league. So
that's what I'm saying. But if you put John Stockton in now, he's in the league. That's what I'm saying. That's the better question when you add that to it.
Would John Morant would he flourish in the 90s?
Yeah, Johnson did.
Yeah, he would.
We gonna get to John Stockton.
They wouldn't be what they are now, though. I think they get worse if you put them in that era. I think those players get worse when you put them in that era, and I think those players that we talking about, I think they get better in this era. That's my argument for that.
Chill. You said that. John Stockton.
I gotta step in because I gotta read a couple more super chats, and then we gonna get to the top.
Go ahead,
y'all. Antoine El Host Ron has been a member for a month, and he said spacing doesn't excuse bad shot quality.
I agree. It can explain it in some regards, though. But that's what Twitter's been going wild about with Paolo Banchero. There's been a lot of talk about him and if he's overrated or not. And I think it's starting a lot with spacing in Orlando and stuff. So yeah, I think spacing doesn't excuse bad shot quality, but it can explain why some teams have lesser shot quality, like individuals, because their team spacing is lesser. So I think it explains some of it. I don't think it excuses it.
Realist123's been a member for 9 months, and he simply just had to say, if Raymond Felton is not on this list, it's cooked.
That was another honorable mention I had. Thinking about what he did in like 2013 on the Knicks, or was it 2011? 2011 on the Knicks.
On the list of what?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have him above Ty Lawson, but he was close.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about
Raymond
like
Felton on the list, what?
no, because I was just thinking if Steve Nash looks like
Honestly,
that with D'Antoni,
hey, Jordan,
and then I see Raymond Felton look like that with D'Antoni, I'm like, Raymond Felton's really Steve
Look,
Nash.
I almost put McNamara on this list because of 03 because of that NCAA run.
I almost put Jay Williams, but because of what he did at Duke, but just
honestly, if we had an opportunity, I'm not gonna lie to you, hey man, I was about to put Reed Shepherd on this list, but it's too early.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, man. I was thinking about it for sure.
Creative player became a member today, and so did Jordan. Shout out creative player. Shout out Jordan. Also, too, Jordan, that's you.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. That's definitely not me.
Like, yo, that's heat. But also, too, I want to shout out Tiny Archibald as well. He was, because I did my list all the way to 15. He was in that, 12, 13 range. I can't remember exactly, but shout out Tiny Archibald. He was the truth for real.
I thought about him a little bit, just a tad. I thought about him a little.
But all right, y'all, let's go ahead and do it. We got a top 5 to get into, so let's make it happen. Oscar Robertson is at 6, and at 5, any guesses? Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about it, y'all. I lied. We have a tie for 4 and 5.
Oh, okay.
You guys are right. Jason Kidd is one of the guys. Can you guess the other guy?
John
Who's tied with Jason Kidd? John Stockton?
It's Isaiah Thomas.
John Stockton's higher than.
Right. I have Isaiah Thomas higher than Jason Kidd.
Me too. Chill, where did you? Is this your doing? Chill.
No, it's not.
No, I ain't have Isaiah on the list.
I got
Isaiah Thomas on the list at all.
I ain't have him on the list.
I got Isaiah 3 and I got Jason Kidd 4.
We literally just had Paul and I just had a 20-minute.
I don't think he's better than Westbrook. So
on Friday about why he thinks Isaiah Thomas is not good.
I had Jason Kidd at 9. So yeah, I was.
Would Isaiah Thomas be a top 5 point guard if he played today?
I think we had that conversation last week.
Yes, we did.
Absolutely.
I don't like doing like what would this guy from 40 years ago look like today. I just don't want to do this conversation.
Oh, okay.
So I just stay away from it. But I don't think he's better than Westbrook. So if people are mad at me, I didn't have him on the list. I have Westbrook at 10. I think he's better than Isaiah Thomas, offensively and defensively, and had better longevity. So unfortunately, that's tough. And I don't think he's better than Jason Kidd, who had at 9. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, fellas, the actual question, and we got to get down to this, is who do we have? Who are you taking? Isaiah Thomas or Jason Kidd? This is going to determine who is higher on this list as of right now.
So we asking about the 5th spot or the 4th spot?
Well, one of them.
Whoever wins the poll will get 4th. Whoever wins will get 4th. So, I got Jay Kidd above Isaiah. One of the best guard defenders.
I got Isaiah Thomas.
Point guard defenders. Better passer than Isaiah was. I think his ability in transition was spectacular. And then his ability to just play a multitude of roles when he developed the outside shot, playing next to people and being able to do that, but still be able to set the table for guys like Dirk Nowitzki and stuff. He was great. The longevity was there too in a way that Isaiah's wasn't. But for me, the biggest thing was just the defensive gap. I think Jason Kidd I've been killed for this before. I think he's the best defender at the point guard position there's ever been. So that's special to me. So that's why I had him on the list, even though I think offensively, he's just not as... I think he's lower than most of them offensively, but defensively it was too much for me. And then the longevity and all of those things. So I had Jason Kidd at 9. So the longevity
logic with Jason Kidd. So Jason Kidd played 17 years. Of those 17 years that he played, probably around 2011, that would be year 15. I mean, how good was he in year? I was thinking I was probably year 15. How good was he then compared to Isaiah Thomas and Jason Kidd around year 10? Because Isaiah played 13 years and he tore up his Achilles in the last game of year 13. He still was one of the better league guards in the game. There weren't many league guards in the game better than him in year 13. I mean, he had a 10-year stretch where he still was at the top of the game. The only guys, Isaiah, Magic, Stockton, those were the 3 guys. Isaiah as a scorer, there weren't many, especially during that time during the big man league. There weren't many guys who could score the basketball. There weren't many guys who could score the basketball like him. Mars, you talked about him not being able to score the basketball in the clutch, and his efficiency wasn't very good. Well, that's largely due to how the defense was. Not only how the defense was, playing against better defense when you go into the playoffs. That's because when you go into the playoffs, you're playing against all league guards. You're playing against defenses that's solely comprised to deal with you because you are the best scorer on that team. But with you being the best scorer, you're also the best distributor. So he's getting guys like Joe Dumas. He's getting guys like Bill Laimbeer more involved in the game than he would have before he got those guys. So when I think about Jason Kidd, one of Jason Kidd's deficiencies was his ability to shoot the long ball. Yes, he added that late in his career. That was like year 13, 14. Isaiah had already had that. Isaiah had already had that throughout the course of his career. You talked about you talked about Steve Nash. One of the main reasons why that offense was as good as it was because of him being the engine of that offense. Well, think about Jason Kidd. One of the main reasons why their offenses weren't better because Jason Kidd wasn't as good of a jump shooter. He couldn't stretch the defense.
I agree.
He couldn't stretch the defense like Isaiah Thomas could, right? He not only could he not stretch the defense as the playmaker that Isaiah Thomas was, that was largely because he was able to stretch the defense. And on top of that, I was that dude from the door. I was the best player. I was the best in the country in the 8th grade. I was the best in the country in high school. I was the best in the country in college. When I got to the NBA, I mean, there was a gap between me and Magic, but I was that dude from the door, and I stayed that guy.
Yeah, Isaiah wasn't a shooter, not from 3 anyway. But Isaiah, I think, was probably better offensively than Jason Kidd. I'm not arguing against that. Jason Kidd's offense is why he's at 9. Like in the half court, it just left a lot.
You got Jason Kidd at 9?
9. I had him behind Walt Frazier, Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson.
I make the argument all the time. Jason Kidd is who y'all think Steve Nash was, but okay.
Well, absolutely no. They were just opposites. Jason Kidd was an elite defender who had major flaws on offense, and Steve Nash was an offensive genius who was a horrible defender. They're not the same at all. Like they're polar opposites. I think it's just about what you value, to be honest. Like they don't compare in the slightest. But Isaiah Thomas, like Jason Kidd for me, and why I had him so high was the defense, and I think he's one of the best passers we've ever seen. Top 5, 6, whatever. I don't know. He's one of them. But the half-court offense and scoring and ability to put pressure on defenses in the half-court is why I had him low. But with Isaiah Thomas, it's like, I don't think he was the best scorer on the Pistons. I think it was Joe Dumas. He was the best playmaker there. They were a team that won because of defense, and he was their worst or second worst defender in their starting 5. He was at best a neutral on that side of the ball, in my opinion. And then the longevity on top of that, like Jason Kidd wasn't elite for 17 years, but he was still providing elite value while Isaiah Thomas was no longer in the league. So that was a factor in it for me as well. So when I came down to it, it was like Isaiah was one of the hardest names to leave off, but I was like, I think Westbrook was better. I think Westbrook did it for just as long. And I think Westbrook provided way more value offensively. So I'm going to go with Russ. And then Jason Kidd was the longevity, the defense, the passing, the ability in transition, which I think was better than Isaiah. I'm like, I just prefer that value. And then his ability to play next to other people later on just added extra longevity points to him. Not because he was still a superstar, but because that just being able to provide that value, even if you are the 3rd or 4th best player. Isaiah Thomas wasn't in the league anymore. So that's just extra bonus points. So that's why I ended up having Jason Kidd above him. If people are mad at me for Isaiah, that's fine. But they're not convincing me that he's better than Russell Westbrook.
That's what I was about to ask you, Mars.
We got to get the votes, y'all.
Okay,
so
no problem.
Mars, you voted for Jason Kidd. Jordan, you said you got Isaiah?
Yeah, I got Isaiah.
Chill. Who do you have out of these two?
Isaiah.
Isaiah? Swiper?
Mars is tripping. I have Isaiah on my list, so I think he was a great scorer. He was a very good playmaker. I think he was the most important player.
How can you say he's a great scorer, but you have that whole argument about Jason Tatum not being a great scorer?
No, I'm not saying. Jason Tatum also is relatively to a great scorer. You know what I mean? He just
we had a whole debate last week about
sometimes. But I'm not gonna say Jason Tatum has runs where he's been a really good shooter. It happened. I'm trying to be nice.
Hypocritical. You can't say he's a great
I'm
scorer when
saying
he was more
JT 2022, great shooter, and then he went to the finals, fell off, and then ever since can't see him. He had his moments though.
That's just inconsistent. That's just
he had his moments.
Isaiah Thomas was efficient once in the regular season.
I mean, he wasn't a 3-point shooter. I mean, yeah, he didn't shoot 3-pointers.
He wasn't efficient on 2.
My question would be
47% from 2 is not terrible.
My question would be, so winning isn't a metric that you can, like, when you give the nod to another guy, like y'all don't factor in winning,
especially when we're on the same level.
Especially when winning has to be the factor.
Like his team was better. I don't care about it. His team was better. Like me, I'm the only one who didn't have him on the list. The 88, 89, 90 Pistons are just better than what Jason Kidd had to do. Way better. So Isaiah winning, hats off to you. Congratulations to the Pistons. But when I'm looking player versus player, I don't care that you was on the better team and won. I don't care. I'm just looking at how good is Jason Kidd, how good is Isaiah. Try and remove them from that situation. I don't like Isaiah.
But I think that's a little bit hard though. I think that's hard.
It is hard. It's hard. Like, I'm not saying.
No, I'm saying I think it's hard for you to say. I think it's hard for you to be like you don't care because when we talk about a sport of basketball, we play basketball for wins. We don't play basketball for how it looks, and you know, and like people score points to help their team win. So like, if you don't win, and if I didn't have to score as many points as you to win, but I affected the game in a very impactful way, like I think that kind of take it down a lot. That take the scoring down as it's not as important.
Isaiah scored
like,
better.
To me, it's not as important.
Isaiah put up better scoring numbers than Jason Kidd. Like it's not about the scoring, it's not about the stats. Like I feel like I'm not saying you, just generally speaking. I feel like when someone wins, we end like even if their box score numbers don't look great or they were inefficient, people end up trying to rationalize that by saying, well, he did these things to impact winning. But that same game could happen and they just lose by 1. All of a sudden, that guy had a horrible game. He didn't impact the floor. Like, I feel like you guys just try to rationalize someone's poor play if they win because they won. You say they were impacting the game. Like sometimes it's possible to play badly and lose.
I mean, but
sometimes
he played well.
I don't think so.
Sometimes that's just
I don't think so.
You can play really well in the finals, and
you can also play really good and lose. Like, I don't like
you can play great, but that's when it goes. But then winning matters.
Also impacted his team's chances of success. They just lost.
But he did positively impact why they won those NBA finals.
LeBron James in 2017.
That's what I'm saying.
LeBron James in the 2017 finals lost in 5 games. He was arguably the most impactful player in the series. Arguably, he just didn't. They just didn't have enough to.
No, but Mars, to be clear,
it's not about whether or not you won. It's about how you impact your team's success.
For sure, like winning when there is a winning bias, but we also can say Isaiah Thomas was a positive contributor in both of those NBA finals runs to the point where he's the best player on the team.
Absolutely.
So I think if you're measuring him at his peak plus his floor, I think he's one of the 10 best point guards of all time.
Mars, when you talk about Russell Westbrook, really quickly, Mars, and I just got a question, Mars. Do you think that Russell Westbrook and Isaiah Thomas, do you think Russell Westbrook, Isaiah was more of a detriment to his unit than Russ was? Who helped their unit the most is the question that I'm asking you.
I think Russ did more detrimental things than Isaiah, but I think overall Russ still brought more value than Isaiah did. So I think Russ did more. I think Russ did more positive than Isaiah. He also did more negative. But if I just put them on a scale and just say positive minus negative versus positive minus negative, I still think Russ comes out as a more overall positive. Even though Isaiah won the 2 championships, he won the Finals MVP in 90, I think. Like it's not about
Trailblazers, yes.
It's not like for me. It's not about the wins and losses. I understand we played to win, but I also understand outside of Isaiah, the other 11 guys on his team are also playing to win. So if you're all playing like in a team game, you're all playing towards that collective goal of winning, and one guy might be more impactful than the other on your same team, but it still takes all of you to come to that overall goal of winning. 100%. If I think Jason Kidd on those Nets teams that got to the finals, they had no shot against the Lakers and the Spurs. Not because Jason Kidd isn't good or he's not impacting the game, because overall, top to bottom, they just didn't match up with the Lakers and the Spurs. Same thing with Isaiah versus the Lakers when Kareem's on his last legs and Magic ends up being hurt. And then the Blazers, where it's like the Blazers are a good team, but Pistons are probably a better team. Right. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, Isaiah's, the difference is those championships. When I'm looking at top to bottom, the team I think was just better. And Isaiah's a part of that. Absolutely, arguably the best player on that team. But I just think it goes more than, oh, the best player on this guy, he won a championship, is the best player. This guy didn't. Therefore, this guy's better than that guy. I just don't get with that personally. But I understand saying this guy won, this guy didn't. Therefore, this guy is above this guy. I'm fine with that. I just don't think he's better than Russell Westbrook. So I just.
Speaking of winning, guys, let's get to the number 3 all-time point guard on our list.
John Stockton.
Yes, John Stockton, a guy who didn't actually win a ring, but he was on winning teams and teams that went very far in the playoffs, and he was a very good point guard. How do we feel about John Stockton being number 3? And
one of my biggest issues with the Stockton slander is the fact that Stockton couldn't score. When we very rarely talk about when Frank Layden ended up stepping down and Jerry Sloan took the job and the offense completely changed. They went from one of the fastest paced teams in the league to one of the slowest paced teams in the league. They went from John Stockton averaging over 20 a game in the playoffs for 2 straight years. He averaged 27 a game to now the offense is running through Malone. They're playing slower.
1 year, 27.
Yeah,
was it on like a 3-game series?
Yeah, he averaged 27. He put 20 and 20 on Magic. 100% he did that. He did it twice, as a matter of fact. But he in the playoffs, now the game got slower. With the game getting slower, now they're focusing more of the offense on him being more of a primary distributor, less of a scorer. Now we're getting Malone more involved in the game. We're getting Jeff Malone more involved in the game. We're getting Thurl Bailey more involved in the game. So now that's taken away from John Stockton as a scorer. Not to say that he couldn't score, but that wasn't his job. Even though that's what you guys equate scoring today in terms of a scoring guard. John Stockton was an elite scorer. He just when the game changed and the coaching staff changed, the style changed, and because the style changed, it affected his scoring. But John Stockton was an elite scorer.
Did everyone have Stockton on their list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Stockton wasn't like basically an 18 and 14 dude for over like a 6 year or 5 year span.
At his peak, at his peak, Swiper, he was he had a 3-year stretch where he was 17 and 14 on a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. That is incredible. I know that sounds goofy as hell, Marge. I know it does, but that's what he was doing for I believe it was 11 straight years. He was 16 and 13 for like on like a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Stockton
and he played every damn game.
That was the thing for me.
His durability isn't in question. Stockton played every night. Not only did he play every night, Stockton was one of the better distributors in traffic that we don't talk about, right? He was one of the better distributors as a small guard in traffic. He was one of the better distributors in transition, throwing the ball off the bounce, not just throwing the ball off the bounce, getting the ball, throwing it ahead of guys. Stockton was one of the smartest point guards that I'd ever seen. And I don't think we give Stockton nearly as much credit considering that era of point guard, especially when we moved into the 90s. The defender that he was. I mean, I don't think we can talk about a guy who's the all-time steals leader. People think just because you're a steals leader that you don't play defense because they equate that to Magic. They equate that to James Harden. They equate that to Steph Curry, that you don't play defense, which just isn't true because you have to consistently, if you're doing that, which is what Stockton was doing, you have to consistently be smart about when you're playing, how you're playing off the ball, when you're going into the post to dig. Not only when you're going into the post to dig, how you're playing on the ball, what fouls are, all of that good stuff. Stockton was fantastic.
But you had Stockton at 3?
I didn't. I had him at 4.
Okay. I didn't have him at 3, but I got him on my list.
But Ron made us put Steph Curry and Jerry West on his goddamn list.
I had Stockton at 7. So
I had him personally the highest at 3.
Oh, I did not.
I couldn't get. He was above Jason. The longevity for me was big. Him not missing games until like 1998. Like that.
I think he missed like 10 games in his career. I think something like that.
13,
some crazy number like that.
It was something like just being available all the time. And then I think John Stockton could score early on in his career, particularly in transition. Now, later on, I think he just ended up becoming a table setter who shoots spot shots occasionally. But like that just availability, being there consistently, the defense that I think is underrated from John Stockton. Very, very good defensively. Very good just seeing the floor, getting guys the ball when they need it. Very good in transition as a scorer. Now, sometimes got a bit of tunnel vision, but that's besides the point. So I feel like just the longevity and how good he was for so long is why I had him at 7. But I couldn't get him higher because I just think at his best, I just think he was a step below Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Steve Nash, Chris Paul. I just think he was below those guys. But I had him above Walt Frazier, Jason Kidd, and Westbrook because he was so good for so long. That's like, you're going to have shots to win with John Stockton as your point guard. If he never misses time, you never have to worry about him being hurt for a playoff series. You never have to worry about his availability. You got 19 cracks at this. Make it work. Like, that's just so valuable to me. So that's why I had John Stockton on my list at 7, but I just couldn't get much higher.
All right, y'all. I think we know who the top 2 guys are.
Do we?
But it's a toss-up between where they land. So we have Tyrese Halliburton and Luka Doncic. Nah, but I'm gonna go ahead and be pretty straightforward with this. It was actually a wash, and it was only one guy
who did it
that had Magic Johnson at 2.
Yeah, everybody knows Mars.
That was me. Yeah,
You've heard him say this before.
Yeah, that was me.
He's new to this, not true to this.
Yeah, we had the conversation 2 weeks ago when we did the Steph versus Magic stuff. Yeah, I think Steph. I think Steph at his best is the better player, and I think the longevity Steph is adding up. Now,
why you think Steph is the better player?
Oh damn, we had this whole conversation a couple weeks ago.
I guess
he wasn't there.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to summarize it as quick as possible. You don't have to get back into it. I just think the value that Steph provides offensively is unlike anything we've ever seen. Where Magic had the ball in his hands a lot, and he was leading all-time great offenses. Steph's ability to play next to superstars who need the ball, and play next to superstars who don't need the ball, his ability to manipulate defenses without touching the ball is just something that breaks defenses and breaks games in a way that I can't put a number on it. I can't put a statistic on it, but it's just something that every possession Steph is putting pressure on the defense in a way that I don't think many people in history have matched. The only one I can liken it to is like Shaq, in terms of even if he doesn't have the ball, the defense is bending at the will of where Steph Curry is on the court. That presence opening up opportunities for people. And there was a stretch where like the Warriors offense without Steph Curry just clearly fell off a cliff. And you know the teammates he had. And their offense still just didn't look the same without Steph Curry. That's because he's just you have to game plan for him in such a way. But the way you game plan for him ends up just giving up advantages all over the court in a way that I don't think anyone else has matched in NBA history. And I think his defense gets underrated. Now, he's not good, but he's not horrible. And the idea that
Steph Curry without Draymond Green.
What about it? Steph Curry without Draymond Green? ... What's the rest of that sentence?
No, it's Steph Curry. What you're saying without Draymond Green.
That's what he's asking, Mars.
I think the Warriors offense isn't as good because you need someone who can play in that 4-on-3. I think in order to have what Steph Curry brings to be maximized, you need someone who can make those decisions in a 4-on-3.
Is Magic still Magic without anyone?
I think Magic still impacts the game like Magic.
Regardless of who on the team.
Yeah, and we had that discussion because when you have the ball in your hands, you control where the ball goes. When Steph Curry's influencing defense without the ball, you need other guys who are going to make those decisions.
I'm agreeing with that. That's why I think Steph Curry's a 2-guard. But I'm agreeing with that. But I also, this is where my point is, like, when you saying he's astronomical with these things, like, and I'm not disagreeing that he is what you said he is without the ball and apply that much pressure, but does he have the ability to do it by himself?
I don't care if you can do it by yourself because you don't win by yourself.
I don't care about
that.
Why not? He's going to miss the playoffs if he don't play with these guys.
Yeah. And I'll say once again, because this is just a difference in philosophy. Yeah. Personally, if you have no chance of winning, I don't care that you're an 8 seed. Ideally, you're in the lottery and you have a chance at winning. I don't care. I value what you do for teams that have a shot. I don't care if you can carry a horrible team to an 8 seed and lose in round 1 and 6. I don't care. I value what you do on teams that have a chance to do something.
Missing the playoffs, I think if you miss the playoffs, when you by yourself like that, or consistently, we know if you don't have that, you're gonna miss the playoffs. I think that kind of hurts your legacy a little bit.
Well, here's the difference, though, Jordan. We've never seen Magic by himself, though. We've never seen Magic by himself, so we can't put Magic in that.
How many times?
We can't see Magic in that category.
I agree with that.
But number 2,
Steph missed the playoffs twice, and both of the play-in existed.
Magic missed the Magic. I think when you look at it, I think how many times did Magic out of his 10-year career? How many times did he miss the finals? Not the playoffs, the finals.
The West.
He was in the NBA
finals
9 times.
The West was.
That is incredible. That is incredible. Not the playoffs.
The West was a horrible conference. Like the Lakers were so far above.
Who else did that though? But who else did
that?
No
one was in it. The only time there was a conference comparably bad, someone rattled off 8 straight finals appearances. When a conference is that bad compared to the other conference, and one team is head and shoulders above the rest, now it takes great help. 1000%. The only time they didn't make the finals in the 80s, I believe, was 81. Magic wasn't healthy that year. Like they make the finals when they were healthy.
Neither. They didn't make it.
86. The Rockets, yeah. But when they're healthy, they make it. Absolutely. And that's a commendable thing. But when the conference is that bad, respectfully, I'm not going to be like, well, they made the finals this many times. Because I don't do that with when LeBron made 8 straight. If the conference is that bad and your team is that much better than the rest of the competition,
yeah,
cool, you made the finals. You're better than the teams. Who should the Lakers have lost to in the West? Who should the Lakers have lost to in the West?
Is unbelievable.
In that
well, first of all, that playoffs, Jordan, that playoffs that you're talking about, that was when the play-in became a thing. That Steph Curry.
I agree.
They were a top 8 team, but
so
it only hurt the Warriors.
They were actually a playoff team. That play-in tournament actually hurt them.
I understand, but they were trying to get in the playoffs this year, though. If they would have gotten the playoffs this year, then it helps them. But they missed it. They lose those games. Like that's what I'm saying. Like LeBron James been in those play-ins 2 years. He ain't lost.
With that being said, I think the divide with me and Mars when it comes to Magic and Curry was Mark Jackson tried to turn him into that type of lead guard.
And that's nice.
Yeah, he was good, but then the offense changed where he played more, or he played more off the ball. He played in a more free flowing ball movement offense, and because he ran in the backcourt with another guy in Klay Thompson, who wasn't the primary ball handler, like it wasn't a traditional thing. Now we turn Steph Curry into a point guard, when in reality that offense was 2 dribbles, pass, 3 dribbles. It wasn't somebody actually setting the table. It wasn't somebody actually creating offense consistently for other people. Steph Curry off the basketball, he was creating offense because of the deadly long ball shooter that he was, 100%. Magic, on the other hand, Magic was setting the table for James Worthy. He was setting the table for Jabbar. He was setting the table for Michael Cooper, in addition to getting his own offense, in addition to making sure that everything that we ran, it ran smoothly. That offense that Steph Curry played in, it was conducive not just to Steph Curry's game, but to everybody's game.
Everybody. That's my argument too. Like, that's my argument too. When you put him in another system, is he still Steph Curry?
Well, the 2015 Warriors weren't that system and stuff. Like, there's a misconception that when Steve Kerr came in, it was instantly Draymond's the point forward. No, 2015, they were still starting David Lee. David Lee ends up getting hurt and Draymond comes in. But Draymond Green's still not the point forward. Go watch that 15 Warriors team. Steph Curry's the primary ball handler. He's running a bunch of pick and rolls. And he was one of the most efficient scorers in the league in the regular season and the postseason. Go watch that 2015 conference finals against Houston. He had the ball in his hands and destroyed Houston. Destroyed them. Like, Steph Curry
the X factor in that series, with the Rockets was Sean Livingston. Like, that was the X factor. Like, Sean Livingston and I want to say Barbosa, but I want to say Barbosa was is that 2015?
2015.
Was that the series when Andre Iguodala got hurt? When I told you, Mars, that if Iguodala doesn't get hurt, they make quick.
You're thinking about 18.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're thinking about 18. Yeah.
I was like, if Iguodala
15,
didn't get hurt,
15. Sean Livingston was an X factor in that series against Houston.
I'm gonna just read off numbers, and I understand like people have to watch the series for themselves. But in that series, Steph Curry averaged 31, 5 and 6 on 51, 49, 81, and they destroyed Houston in 5 games. In large part because of what Steph Curry was doing as a initiator, a point guard, handling the ball. They couldn't deal with Steph Curry's ability to shoot from that far out with the ball in his hands. Draymond Green wasn't the point forward yet. Now their offense hit another
level. In 2014, 2015, or 2015, 16? Okay, 14, 15. Okay.
Steph Curry was doing unbelievable things as a point guard, and obviously should have been the Finals MVP, but that's a whole nother conversation. But he did that with Steve Kerr, and then the offense changed in 16 with Draymond's emergence, and it just made more sense for the whole conglomerate of the team. But that just shows the versatility of Steph Curry. He can play on the ball if you need him. He can play off the ball if you need him. And how many times have you heard Steph's the only guy who's more dangerous when he gets off the ball? That ability to me is just so valuable. And it might not be a typical point guard. I'm fine with that. He's not a point guard. But in terms of just value to an offense, you can't replicate what Steph Curry does to an offense, in my opinion. And that's what's so valuable.
The question is why is he so dangerous, though, Mars? That's the question. Why is he so dangerous off the basketball? Is it just because he shoots the long ball the way he does? It's also because of how the ball moves, and it's also because of Klay Thompson, his ability to shoot the ball. So when he's able to shoot the ball the way he is, that offense moves the way it does. We're more willing to let this guy shoot. We're more willing to let this guy shoot or get caught with this guy being open as opposed to Steph Curry, because it's not like Steph Curry is just holding the basketball on the wing. It's not like Steph Curry is just standing on the wing. That offense involves him to do that. He's not just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. No, that's part of the design of their offense. So, and when you talk about having the ball and dominating the series, I mean, I watched Magic in '87 against that Seattle team. Even though as bad as that Seattle team was, I mean, they were under 500 in the Western Conference Championship. Magic destroyed them. Magic got busy against them. That was the best version of Magic. We also talking about Magic. Yeah, we also talking about Magic in 1991 when they played against the Trailblazers. Trailblazers, the Lakers had no business beating them. No business beating them. But Magic outplayed Terry Porter, having the basketball in his hands for the majority of the time. And every series I feel like the Golden State Warriors were in that they won, they should have won. Every one of them that they should have won. The series that the Lakers were in,
you just said OKC should have beat him in 16. This episode, you said
because they was up 3-1. Now you think they was up 3-1?
No. Because on this episode, he just said OKC should have beat him, but now when they win the series, they should have won it. You just said this episode,
right? Have won. Exactly. Every series that they should have won, they won. That's my point.
Like they were supposed to beat the Thunder, and when they were the Thunder, the
the Golden State Warriors and Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City ain't had no business. Just like the Lakers ain't had no business beating Portland in 91. Golden State didn't have no business beating Oklahoma City in 16. They were up in the series. They shouldn't have beat them.
Okay, so they won a series where they shouldn't have won.
They shouldn't have won.
So that's a test. I mean, Steph and Clay, Angela is
right.
Once again, it's not an individual thing for me. It's not that.
Sure.
Oh, Steph beat KD. I hate when people be like Steph beat KD and then KD joined. No, the Warriors beat OKC. It's not an individual versus individual thing. It's a team sport. But Steph Curry,
I think he's saying
on his team is substantial to me.
But I think he's saying like what I'm saying. Like Steph is who he is because of who he has around him too, though. Like I think that's what he's saying. Like Steph is Steph because you have so many people you have to worry about, like Klay Thompson, that you're not helping off of to help Steph. Like you just can't do it. Like he had that.
That's the same thing for Magic.
Everyone's a product of their system. Like Magic 100%. Johnson, when he found out that Mr. Westhead was going to move him away from the point guard, he weren't happy about that. You know why? Because Magic knows where he's best. Same thing with Steph. Steph knows where he's best. James Worthy was a great compliment to Magic. You know why? Because he was a quick scorer. He wasn't someone who's going to get the ball on the wing. Adrian Dantley. Adrian Dantley would not work with Magic Johnson. No disrespect to Adrian Dantley.
He's a ball stopper.
Because Magic Johnson needs guys who are going to make quick decisions, quick attacks, attack the closeout, get to the rim. Like that's what he needs. So Magic Johnson is a similar way. You're not, because Magic Johnson has the ball. You're not going to have someone else who needs to have the ball for 18 seconds and do things. It's Steph Curry. He might not have he can play with guys who can dominate the ball, but he's also going to need guys who are going to be big, switchable defenders who can also high IQ guys. That's what Steph Curry.
Steph's a quick scorer too. I think Steph's a quick scorer too.
Steph's a quick scorer. Like it's a quick player. It's quick with Steph. Mm-hmm. He's on the ball quick. He's off the ball quick. And you need guys with high IQ to play with that. I watched when Kelly Oubre was there in 2021. It doesn't work because Kelly Oubre doesn't process the game as fast. So everyone's going to need things to maximize them. I just think with Steph Curry, when you get Steph Curry maximized, it's like on anything we've ever seen before. That's why I got Steph Curry.
Fellas, we got to keep it pushing. But I'm going to put this list on the screen one more time. The top 10 point guards ever from your favorite podcast, your favorite show, your favorite collection of guys. We got Magic Johnson at 1, Steph Curry at 2, John Stockton at 3, Isaiah Thomas at 4, Jason Kidd at 5, the Big O, Oscar Robertson at 6, CP3, Chris Paul at 7, Jerry West, the logo at 8, Steve Nash at 9, and Russell Westbrook at 10. These are your top 10 point guards from Player's Choice. Y'all let us know. Do we do a good job on this list?
I think the names are pretty good. Now, I would have had Walt Frazier on there. That's the only one who I thought who didn't make it. But I think the names are pretty good. Now, I think the order is abhorrent. But like I think the names are overall pretty good. So I'm not mad at it. I know people are gonna have a problem with it, and people are gonna have a problem with me not having Isaiah and stuff, but I think it's a good list. I think that might be the best one we come up with of all 10, of all 5 positions.
You think so?
Because I tried the rest of the 5 positions. I promise they were harder than point guard.
Well, center, I think center is the only one that's going to be pretty like unanimous at the top with the 5. And then
yeah.
From there, it's going to be like if you think Patrick Ewing is better than like Dwight, Embiid, some of those other players.
Yeah.
Fellas, I really struggled with Smith.
Oh, I have a hard one with that one, but I understand that as far as the center one. I think.
Are we doing them one for each day of the week?
I think Shaq and Wilt the same player.
I need my man Swiper here, so we'll do one Thursday, we'll do one Friday, then we'll do another one next Monday, then we'll do another one next Thursday.
So I can pop in. Just to be clear, I can pop in. I'll be. Remember, I'm going to Miami Friday. I won't be here Friday. Chill won't be here either.
I will. Yes, I will.
So you trying to drag Chill out of work?
No, out of work.
See, I knew Swiper was that guy. Yo, let's skip class today and let's go yada yada yada.
I'll be here.
And Swiper, I'm saying yes every time. But all right, y'all, let's get to the super chats. We'll work it out based on Swiper's schedule. But I need Swiper up here. Also, Jordan.
Yeah.
Let me know what other position you want to come back for. So if it's shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, centers, you just let me know.
So you not getting his top 10?
Hang on, Mars. We getting there.
See, here's the thing. We're not gonna get his top 10 today.
What?
We're not gonna get his top 10 today. We got his top 10 point guard list of all time. I need another day where we can really get his top 10 and talk about it.
No, this wrong guy.
We need to be able to talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah, I would like to come back for the shooting guard one or the center debate one. That's one I think. I think we gonna have some conflict with the number one spot for sure. Everything else we might agree on.
Who you think the best player in the league is, Jordan?
Now?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, it's kind of hard.
You can say Embiid.
I think it's honestly, I'm gonna say
depends on what he values. That's what I want to know. I want to know what
he
you
knows
value.
it's Embiid. He knows it's Embiid.
No, hold on.
No,
Stop
definitely not Embiid.
Right.
Definitely not Embiid. I probably would say Jokic. To be honest with you, I probably would say Jokic.
What's the difference? Well, who's second, and why is that person not one for you? I'm trying to just see how you think.
Bro, second is tough because this is why I say it's tough because like you got guys like Steph Curry who could be easily second. You got LeBron James who could be second, and I'm not talking about like just skill. I'm talking about playoffs come. I'm dangerous and I'm willing to win. Like
so not Embiid. Okay, not Embiid.
Yeah, definitely not Embiid because, bro, I get tired of seeing Embiid shoot more threes than Steph Curry. But whatever. But
I'm just off the floor.
I'm just saying, like to me, I think it's Jokic. I think Jokic does the most when it comes down to for his team. Like, and I think he don't get credit. Like, I know the numbers say historically he's one of the worst defenders, but if you watching the game, he changed a lot of shots that's just not on the stat sheet. But to me, I think it's Jokic, and then second, man, that's tough. You can go LeBron, you can go Steph, you can go
Giannis, Luka.
Giannis, you can go Luka, you can go so many guys. Like,
but what's the difference? What's the gap? So, like, what's the difference between what you value at one to like? Could you have a list at two? So, like, well, I guess what is the
factor? It's not very big. I would say it's not very big. The factor for me would be, bro, the style, the brand of basketball, and winning is obviously up there for me. Like the brand of basketball, and like when it comes down to did this team win the game, who impacted that win the most out of that 1 and 2? And Luka is not there because he just ain't got to the finals. You know what I mean? Luka gets to the finals, and this might be a different conversation.
Well, he got to the finals last year.
I mean, this year, but
healthy. You talking about healthy?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. But like, this might be a different conversation if Luka can play how he's supposed to play in the finals. Jokic get there, and man, like, just Jokic with Serbia. Like Jokic playing with Serbia is the same thing. Like, it's unbelievable, kind of. You know, to me, that's what the margins is. So it's not very big, but.
What do you think? What do you think Tatum?
Hold on, Swipe. I got to step in because we got to get to these super chats. But here's also the thing too. We will be doing a top 10 current players list. We'll do it. We'll also break down each position of current players as well. We got a lot we got to get into. I realize we've been depriving our list and really letting people know what the real rankings are. So we gonna really get into this. We'll get you guys know we'll do the power rankings with the teams and stuff like that. But we need to talk about these players and where they rank and why they rank where they rank. Today was a good episode with the point guards. We will get to the other 5 positions, but I'm gonna get to these super chats. Speaking of comparisons and positions and whatnot, Divine sent through a super chat. He said, I had a conversation with my cousins about Kobe versus LeBron a few weeks ago. They are Kobe guys, and they thought I was crazy for thinking LeBron is better. Who do you guys have, and who's the better scorer? Fellas, we can't spend a lot of time on this. I just need you guys to tell me, who do you have? Who's better?
Quick, LeBron.
LeBron's a better player.
Scorer too. Next.
I could debate you guys with 24, but I'll really kill you with 8. But we can't really do it. So
wait, that's the same. Never mind. That's what I'm saying. You're bringing the finals, Kobe. Then you lost that right there. Go ahead. All right, next subject.
10 Man said, Dub panel, Dub host, Dub box, El Majin Buu. What Majin Buu?
Which Majin Buu?
Oh, he talking about love.
About who?
Love.
Which Majin Buu though?
I mean, if you talk about low, it gotta be only one.
He's calling him first Majin Buu. First Majin Buu wasn't bad. I don't know, Jordan, if you're a DBZ fan. The bad Majin Buu was Kid Buu and Next Buu. Those were the ones that were bad.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about none of that. So
that was my core
basketball. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. I was a deprived kid. I was a basketball kid. I don't know nothing about none of that.
In between practice, after school, you would go home, eat, 4 o'clock, DBZ, go to practice, come back, 8 o'clock, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi in Tokyo, Tenchi Universe.
Oh, so you were fully in. You were.
This is anime thing?
I watched
It
every
was
single.
remember,
Yeah,
again, you were around my age. Cartoon Network in the early 2000s, they had an anime run for 4 hours. It was DBZ, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Universe.
I didn't
Tenchi
watch it
Tokyo.
though. I didn't watch it though. I was watching
Right.
ESPN.
Yeah, Swiper. See, I turned it off
I was
after
in
DBZ,
everything.
but I was locked in the DBZ though.
Yeah, Ron, no, I can tell. You're Krillin. Go ahead, next. Go ahead.
I'm Krillin.
He's a great
Swiper,
character.
Hey, you know what, Swiper? Take that hat off. We'll see who's Krillin. This is a reason
My hat's
why I
off all the
keep this.
time. I literally had a suit and ball on.
This is
Jordan,
Super
you see, you try to get me. See, oh, so
This is
UTN
Super
then.
Saiyan
So UTN
2
then. I
Gohan
got
right
you.
here.
UTN then. I got
right
you.
here.
Do this for me. Do this for me.
Yo, that's correct. You know what? You know what? Actually, with that green hat, you special beam cannon. That's you. That's what I'm calling you from here on out. Special beam swiper.
All right, Bardock. You got 1 series. Never seen again.
The Tribe One has been a member for 13 months. He sent this through. He said, Dame, top 15 all time. John Wall, top 20 all time. Where's Nate Robinson at? Huh? By the way, why Bron not on this list? Yes, I'm trolling. Lakers in 6.
Dame was one of my honorable mentions. I thought about him.
Troll alert.
Just
Dame was on my list, but I got.
I'm not gonna get in the amount of people you had over Steve Nash, but
hey, I think so. But you know, I'm okay with that controversy. But
I ended up with Dame at like 12, I think, behind like Isaiah.
This is crazy.
I also have a conspiracy theory about Steve Nash, so like that's another thing. But
I've heard a bunch of conspiracy theories.
We'll get that from you one time. We got to hear that. But Mo sent through a super chat and said, "Happy birthday, Hard Goat." Dub show.
Yeah, happy birthday, James Harden, man.
And
when we get to that shooting guard list, people not gonna like where I had James Harden, man. But
they're not gonna like where I have him either. But Harden would have been on this list if I would have let Jordan put him at point guard. Jordan, where'd you have him at?
I want to say I had him at 5. Wherever I had Jerry West at, I want to say 5.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had James Harden at 5.
Shout out Harden. He's high on some people's point guard list.
I'm not mad at that.
Bro, James Harden is unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
Also, Jordan's on the show, but then Jordan sent through a super chat as well. He said Swiper changed his tone on Ant after he beat his king.
I think Ant is an incredible player, but if you're gonna sit here and lie to me and tell me he's better than Tatum, telling me he's better than Booker definitively, telling me he's better than Donovan Mitchell, we are not going to agree. That's the thing. Y'all might not think I don't like Tatum, but I'm not going to let y'all like slander him, say that like these players that are
only you can slander him. Yeah, only you.
No, I'm just different. I'm different than y'all. That's the difference. The only reason this narrative exists is because of that man right there, the future salsa prince of Miami. That's it. Because of him. That's the only reason the narrative exists.
Still, I can't wait.
Hey, I agree with you. I agree with you. People that you just had on that list, but I'm gonna disagree with you. Anthony Edwards is better than Donovan Mitchell. Gotta give you that one. I'm not gonna agree with you.
You think he's better than Devin Booker? You think he's better than Devin Booker?
No, but I think Anthony Edwards is better than Donovan Mitchell for sure.
So Devin Booker, the best 2 guard in the league.
If it's not Anthony Edwards or Donovan Mitchell,
maybe he thinks
it's Devin Booker. Then it's Devin Booker. It's Devin Booker.
And it'll be Jalen Green next year, so he locked him. So.
It's definitely not. I would debate you. I'm a Houston fan. I would debate you all day about Jalen Green. So,
in a good way or a bad way?
That's Mars.
Bad way.
Bad way. We ain't got time. We ain't got time.
Bad way, man.
Hey, we ain't got time. We ain't got time. Hey, we ain't got time. We ain't got time.
We'll get.
We ain't got time.
Hey, Jordan, what's Jalen Green skilled at? What's his best?
Yo, we ain't got time.
We for sure don't got time. We definitely don't got time. Hey, my man will be
Duncan?
back up here soon.
Duncan's
heat. The Sarmo sent through a super chat. He said 2000's Evan Mobley calling Giannis the 4th best player in the East on his podcast. Shaking my head. Why does a legit top 2 player in the world always get disrespected? And
who said that?
He's talking about Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett is the what of his era?
Evan Mobley.
No, I found it funny. Someone put out a tweet saying that Giannis averaged KG's playoff career high for a whole final series. I found that hilarious.
Game different though.
Absolutely, different. But it doesn't change that. That was hilarious. But
I saw some Bucks fans trying to tell me that Kevin Garnett can't hold a candle to Giannis like an all-time ranking. I was just like,
we gonna get to our power forward list too. People not gonna like that list.
Right. Yeah,
people not gonna like that list.
Yo, they don't like where I put Kevin
Garnett. You're crazy, bro.
They're not gonna like where I have Kevin Garnett on that list. So
you got Kevin Garnett high or low?
High.
Oh, you don't know
high.
how high I am on Kevin Garnett.
I'm high. Okay, I was about to say I'm high.
I promise I'm higher than
Giannis
you.
and Kevin Garnett is not even a comparison for me. Like the game has changed, bro. Like the game is totally different. If you allow a person who's that fast to go to the basket without putting hands on him, what do you think he gonna do?
That's exactly what he's doing right now. That's what
like that doesn't make
exactly
no sense. Like I don't know why people believe like that's defense. Like no, that's neglect. Like you neglected me from playing defense. Like it doesn't make no sense to me when people say that. But
all I know is Kevin Garnett was on the court in 2023 in the first round. Jimmy Butler's not scoring no 56 points. I can guarantee you that. 2004 Kevin Garnett on the court, he is not scoring 56 points.
For sure.
Guaranteed.
For sure.
All right, y'all. Smooth Tube said, I did my homework on Rasheed Wallace, and I'm confused why he doesn't get more love as being a guy that can thrive in any era. Also, Melo top 5 scorer.
If you're not putting up 30,
Rasheed would be a max player today.
That was a debate on what show was that? That was Gill and them. They were arguing if Melo top 5. I think they were talking just straight bucket getting, like natural born bucket getters.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Top 5. You got him top 5. Kobe,
I think
the
natural born bucket getters, like coming into the league. I think it was Durant, Melo, Kobe,
Michael Jordan. Got to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, they didn't talk about him though, so I'm sure it's Jordan.
Up there too, though.
Who?
KD number 1.
KD's probably number 1. I mean, honestly, Jordan's probably 1 because
I understand Melo in that convo, but as long as T-Mac name come first, I'm cool.
That's what I was
Melo, but Melo was a better coming in scorer than T-Mac though.
Yeah, he was better than Kobe, but you put Kobe in there. So
who?
You just said Kobe was on that list. Melo coming into the league.
Yeah, I said Kobe's on, but I'm saying he was.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
What I gotta say, give Melo Lamar Odom and them in 2009. Chill, see what happens. See what happens.
All I know,
Anthony Carter inbounding the ball twice for Carmelo Anthony. That's why he don't got no ring. I guarantee you, Jordan. If Melo saw that team, Hedo Turkoglu, in that finals, they getting cooked.
I would agree. Hedo Turkoglu is a hell of a role player, but Hedo Turkoglu
Sean Lewis is getting.
Hedo Turkoglu would be an $85 million guy if he played in this generation. He's
a great player.
Duncan Robinson just got 80. Duncan Robinson got 80.
Huh? You talking about heat stroke?
He would be an 85. They would be praising Hedo Turkoglu.
How much MPJ? How much MPJ get? MPJ got 136.
Yes, Hedo getting that.
No, stop. You're gassing it.
Is that right? Was it 136?
No, it was up to 169, I believe.
But he don't getting that. He don't getting that if he played in this era, though. By the way, I just be wanting to say, like, people. This is a debate that I want to have with a lot of people. When they talk about the players were better, the players are better now than they were back then. I 100% disagree with that. From the late 80s to 2010 is the best the NBA has seen basketball.
Also, you think players are worse now?
Yes, I think they're worse. I think a lot of them can't play back then.
We need to bring Jordan back, Ron. We need to bring Jordan back.
I think they got skills.
We'll get into all of this.
If Ja Morant's the 20th best player in the league right now, he would not be the 20th best player in the league in 1990.
Yeah, we need to. We need to because this is a whole conversation.
I gotta get to these super chats.
I saw Ron Harper making All-Star games. Respect.
Chill. I know you got to bounce, so we'll catch up.
I gotta go
soon.
Later.
Coming through.
I gotta go too.
Y'all know it's time. It's 2:00. I stay here for 3 hours.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
DSG Piccolo said, "Isn't Angel like 30 rebounds from tying the single season rebounds record?"
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but
it sounds like something that's right. Yeah. So yeah.
Kundrill said WNBA rebounds are too unethical to be considered a skill. That's fire.
Rebounds is a skill all the time.
Your Highness Charles said, rank these TV shows: Living Single, A Different World, Fresh Prince, Martin, Jamie Foxx Show. I'm going to just say Fresh Prince clears. Then I got Martin. Then I got the Jamie Foxx Show. Then I got Living Single. Oh, I want to put Living Single higher just because that's a classic. And then A Different World.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I wouldn't disagree with you on that one. I would probably have Jamie Foxx Show over Martin, though.
I'm not mad at that one. Your Highness Charles said, it's crazy Ron be using the same Steve Nash arguments to defend Tyrese Halliburton, and y'all say he's a Glazer.
Ron is definitely a Glazer, but Tyrese Halliburton is also one of the best point guards in the league. So both are true, but Ron is a Glazer.
Nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that? Styles Blackman said, this dude just hell-bent on hating Nash. He has no real logic. Probably one of them Kobe fans that's mad Nash got MVPs over him. Send him to hell, Ron.
Are you mad at Nash's MVPs? You can be honest.
Yes, I'm mad at him, but I'm not a real Kobe fan like people think I am. I just appreciate. I have Kobe great. I'm thinking he's great. It doesn't have nothing to do with Kobe, to be honest with you. It's just I just never seen somebody win MVP with that stat line like Steve Nash did. Not saying that he didn't impact it, and I know sometimes the stat line don't show it, but with what other guys had going on,
MVP, so yeah, it's understandable.
yeah, definitely didn't see Wes Unseld.
We'll get your top 10 here very soon, probably in next episode. I can't wait to see where you have Kobe ranked. So that should be interesting. Yep. Hip named Slickback said Jerry West is easily one of the most underrated players of all time, especially his defense. Like, people need to go back and watch Jerry play.
I agree. Very, very good player.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Mo said, chill, who had the worst jump shot you've ever seen?
Probably Lowe's at PC Weekend.
Probably who?
No one.
Jordan, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Art said, or Arch said, I'm so proud of Sleepy Penn. Dude defied the odds. Shout out Penn, man. And if you guys don't know what he's talking about the PCL playoff rankings. Penn is at 6 right now. So shout out to Penn for getting a 6 seed. He will face Hayes in the first round of the PCL playoffs. I'm excited for this, and that should be a thriller. Adam West said, I tried to tell y'all about Dion over Mars.
Okay, first of all, slow down. But I said Dion been impressing me. I think he was the second most impressive of the group stages.
So he's the most improved? He for sure is MIP.
MIP for sure. MIP for sure is definitely the second most impressive for me. In the group stages. Behind casual.
Most impressive.
Casual.
Oh, okay. Yeah, said Harden was never even close to 10 assists when he scored 30 plus points.
7.5. I mean, or
James Harden was one of the best playmakers and best scorers in the league.
Yeah, 1 year he averaged 28? I think he averaged 29 or 28. He averaged like 11.5 assists.
In 2017, he was at 29 and 11, I think.
11.5
29 and
11.
29 and 11.
Yeah.
Also, Thickest Pilot 9 said, bring Jay back. I love these types of debates.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, today was a good episode, Jordan. I knew it would be. Something told me about the content you was making. I was like, man, I think this dude going, really contribute to our talk.
If only he wasn't a Nash hater, man. But other than that,
I'm not a Nash hater. I told you I got Nash at 11, but
he's not a Nash.
I mean, I'll be cool to Isaiah Thomas hater, so it's cool.
Yeah.
We both haters.
Morris is not a Nash hater. He's a
I'm not a Nash
hater. It's a different.
I'm definitely I live in Houston. I'm not a fan of Jalen Green's game, bro.
It's cool. You'll be wrong next season. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
If I am, I love it because I'm a Rockets fan by nature. Like, I love it. But
Jordan, so what you don't know is this dude right here in the middle. He's the biggest Jalen Green fan that you'll ever find, and also he doesn't reside in your city, but he rocks with your city. He a Rockets fan too. Are you in the what do they call those things on Twitters? The spaces on Twitters for the Rockets fans?
I'll tap in occasionally, but I don't really be in spaces. I'm in like the Rockets Twitter community. Like,
yes, I step in. I don't never say nothing, but I just listen to them talk.
Yeah, I just be seeing what's going on. It's
like, okay, you guys.
They don't like Jalen Green on Rockets Twitter, but we'll let that one slide. It's cool.
Yeah.
D3 said, squash the ox versus low beef. Shit is uncalled for.
It ain't got nothing to do with us. We can't squash it.
I know one thing. Ox better squash the beef before he gets squashed.
Superchats, man.
That's all I know. Duke did it. Said Amari left in 2010. The Suns went 40-42 with Nash.
What, in 2011?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, the last super chat of the day from my man Julius Irvin. He said Cade better be in the top 10 current PG list. LOL.
What's his vote?
All right, y'all. It was a golden episode today. Jordan, appreciate you for coming through. Can't wait for you to come back for either the shooting guard or the center episode. Can't wait to get your top 10 and can't wait to hear why Jalen Green is not a top 10 shooting guard in the NBA. Okay. Hey, until then, we gonna catch y'all tomorrow. It'll be the same guys, same time, different crew, but it'll still be a fire episode. We'll catch y'all later.
All right.